Well, good evening and welcome to the Robinson Football Pregame Show. I'm Chris Gay. This is Coach Todd Escola. Coach, thank you for being with me. You guys are coming off a win, a huge win over a team that, frankly, I thought they would give you a tougher battle. What was the final score of that game? Like 49-14 against the Searcy Lions. Huge win. And you guys got going right out the gate. What allowed you guys to let's be honest, Searcy is one of the best offensive teams in the state. They couldn't score, well, literally they couldn't score at all in that first half. How'd that happen?
Well, number one, I think our kids responded. We played real poorly the week before against BB, and the kids knew it, and we hadn't had to get them up, in coach speak, and so we knew the challenges that Searcy brought. We knew if we lined up and at the snap we were lined up on defense, they were going to have a hard time moving the ball. Their philosophy offensively is snap it as fast as you can. And if you're not lined up, that's when they make their big plays. So we really emphasized that this week. I thought defensively we did the best job we've done in a long, long time of really communicating, aligning quickly, and being ready to play football at the snap. And, I told the kids today how proud I was of them again. If we can get lined up, we're pretty good defensively. And so I thought that had a lot to do with it.
And, I'm sure there's always things to work on, but one thing that I saw was, or at least didn't see, was there weren't a lot of penalties in this game. Was that another point of emphasis at last week's practice?
Yeah, you've heard me say, I think, every week on this show, we work on us every week, and we are our own worst enemies. I feel like if we play clean, we don't turn the ball over, we don't have those unforced or penalties, that we're going to be a hard out for anybody. I just really believe that, and we're getting better and better about using our head, making better decisions. And then the kids executed really well. It helps when they're, the Searcy is a good football team. They're well coached. Our kids did a really good job with the game plan as far as making the blocks. Our offensive line had the highest grades all year, which was evident by the way we ran the football. But really proud of the kids. I thought they executed really well.
Well, I know it was also senior night, and that was special for a lot of players. Got to see a lot of players hadn't seen really all year. And what was sort of the atmosphere heading into that game with, not just your 21 seniors, but all the other players knowing that, at least for this game, that was probably one of the last games at home, especially for the seniors of their high school careers?
Yeah, we talk about that. You wear the black and gold and playing at home in front of our fans, it's a special place to play. And let them know that, there's no guarantees. We've got to win one of the last two to ensure that we're a top 2 seed and have another home game, and how important that was. But, we just kept emphasizing to the kids, that you don't win a conference championship last Friday, but you can lose one. And so we talked about how you've got to take care of business Friday night. And then if you do that, then you have an opportunity this week to go to Pine Bluff and take another step. And then next week have the opportunity to play for a championship.
Kind of sounds like some of the players are already ready for game day, or pretty hyped up. So obviously, this coming into this game against Pine Bluff, they have their season has not gone the way that really anybody anticipated. Their defense is still outstanding, but for offensively, they've had some struggles to get points on the board. What has, just from your point of view, what you've seen on film, how does that happen?
Well, number one, Coach Williams and his staff are fantastic. I have the utmost respect for them. Every time I see them, that their kids, they're one of the programs that are welcome on our campus any day, 365. They've always been very respectful. They've always, competed hard. Defensively, last year they were really good, and they were all juniors. And offensively, they were super talented. They had 2 young men that went on to play Division I high-level football. And so this year, offensively, is a rebuild year. And he's playing a lot of sophomores. There's a good chance tonight you're going to see several really talented freshmen that are going to make an immediate impact on their offense. But their defense has eight senior starters, and they are solid up and down, that they're really, really good defensively. Key for us tonight is not turn the ball over. We don't think their offense is going to be able to move the ball on our defense. We've got to protect around of the home run ball. That's kind of their threat offensively, but they don't score a lot of points. And we've got to keep from turning the ball over and then be solid in the kicking game.
Now, one other thing that's interesting about this matchup is, and it's been like this all season long for Pine Bluff, but it will be played at the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff Stadium. And though it's still in Pine Bluff, that's a college Division I college football stadium. How do you prepare your guys to play in a big environment such as that?
Number one, if you've never been there, it's a beautiful, beautiful campus, beautiful stadium. Watched several games there. First time coaching there. But it's gorgeous. We've been fortunate. We have played in some really nice facilities. Jonesboro High School was phenomenal this year. So we've played in some big arenas. Our kids have played in big stadiums, big environments. It's going to be a little weird because it'll feel like the stadium's empty because it is so big. It holds 20-something thousand people. And so it's not gonna feel packed, but I'm sure our crowd is gonna show up and support our kids, and we're excited about playing in a beautiful facility against a really good team.
So coming into this week and coming into this game against Pine Bluff, and I know you've touched on some of the points already, but what has been some of the sort of the main focal point heading into this game? Playoffs, postseason, right around the corner. You have one more game after this one in the regular season. What are you telling your team to stay focused on? Just maybe one thing that you're telling your team.
Obviously, keep worrying about us. If we keep getting better, we took a good step last week. We played more of a complete game, to go into Searcy and be up 42-0 at half. We executed well in all three phases. That's got to continue. Pine Bluff is a very dangerous team. They have nothing to lose. Defensively, they're super talented. We've played against some great defenses already this year. You're going to see number 72 on the defensive line for them. He's a 3 technique that is fantastic. One of my favorite kids to watch on film. They've got a linebacker. He's injured right now. I'm not sure if he's going to play or not. He was Whitehall's best player last year, number 21. If you see him out there, he's phenomenal. Both those kids are high-level Division I athletes. And so they're very talented. And you can't take a team for that, for granted. You can't look at their record. That happens a lot of times with high school kids is they see a team, well, they're 2-5 or they're 3-6 or whatever, and you think they're not very good. Well, this is a really good, especially defensive football team. They're probably in the top 2 or 3 we've played all year. And so the points may be hard to come by. And so it's a great matchup for us heading into to not only week 10 but also the playoffs, because they're, at least on the defensive side of the ball, they're a high caliber playoff team, and so that's going to be a great opportunity for us.
Well, I think that is going to do it. I know your players need to go grab some dinner beforehand, so thank you all for tuning in to the Robinson Football Pregame Show. Let's send it back to the field.
Ready to embark on an exciting journey of learning and growth? Now is the time to register and become part of the Pulaski County Special School District family. PCSSD provides educational opportunities for families across more than 500 square miles. Discover endless possibilities, friendships, and unforgettable experiences that will shape your child's future. For more information about registration and school choice, visit pcssd.org/register. Join us as we build a brighter tomorrow, one student at a time.
It's not just a house, it's a home, and it's part of the neighborhood and of course part of the community. And you want to build stuff that they'll take pride in.
Well, that's where they're making their memories.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where they're raising their families.
Without the bank getting us to that next step, we can't do it.
It's nice to be able to call someone at the bank and say, hey, you've worked with us for all these years. This is what we're thinking about doing. Can we pull the trigger on this today? Oh my stars. It is just so much easier to bank with First Community.
I would say school choice is a great option. You can do your research like we did, visit with other parents that have children in the district. We visited the schools before we made the choice to come here. We chose to school choice because we have had such a great experience here. Teachers, staff have been so helpful and reassuring, and we've been forever grateful for it. And I'd do it all over again. PCSSD is a great option no matter where you live.
Good evening and welcome to Senator Football under the Friday Night Lights, brought to you by the Robinson Sports Network, Natural State Sports, and by First Community Bank, where community comes first. Now, your Joe T. Robinson Senators are taking the first game of a 2-game road trip right here in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and the stadium might be a little different. No, we're not playing at Pine Bluff High School. We are not playing at the Torrey Hunter Field at Jordan Stadium. They have been undergoing some construction. Some renovations. I couldn't find the word. For a little while now, and I think for the time being, that the Pine Bluff Zebras will be playing here at Simmons Bank Field, which is, of course, where the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions also play. As you can see, the beautiful Golden Lion at the center of the field, and the UAPB on both sides. But so we are broadcasting from a Division I college football stadium. So that's pretty exciting, and it's going to be exciting for both of these teams. Now, Pine Bluff has been playing here all season long, but for the Senators, playing on a Division I football team field, that's got to be pretty exciting and maybe adds a little bit more excitement to this matchup. Now, Pine Bluff coming into this game 2-6 on the year, not the season that they anticipated. Now, they did lose a lot of talent after last season. Their quarterback, Landon Holcomb, he decided to, of course, he graduated, but he decided to actually stay here at home and play for UAPB, along with Jonathan Goins, one of their linebackers. Courtney Crutchfield, one of the top players in the state last year, a wide receiver, went to Missouri. Austin Dendy, one of the best defensive players in the state last year, also went to Missouri. So they lost a lot of talent, and 2-6 is kind of showing.
Yeah, 2-6 is showing, and it's hard to come back after you lose some great talent like Courtney Crutchfield, along with Austin Dendy, one of their great defensive players who also went to Missouri. So when you lose that type of talent, it's hard to come back from. I know they're doing their best to bounce back, but sometimes these things take time, and as you can see so far this season, that it's looking that way. But on the other side of things, for the Senators, this is kind of when you hit your stride. You're only 2 weeks out away from playoff football now. I think this is when you start to really hit your groove, get things working on hitting on all cylinders, and really show what you've got to work with.
But really, all season long, they have been in a rhythm. Now, they've had some bumps here and there along the way, but they are currently on a 7-game winning streak after losing in week 0, week 1, whatever you want to call it, against Pulaski Academy, a 7A school. But this team really put everybody on notice last week at home, senior night. They were hosting a great Searcy Lion football team. And what they did to the Lions should be studied because they put up 42 points on a team with a solid defense in the first half, but a team that has an incredible offense. They didn't allow a single point in that first half, and then they got some quick touchdowns to finish out the game. But, Jake, that was a game right there.
Yeah, no, that was electric from the start. It was all Senators all the way through. There was just nobody was going to stop them that night.
No.
Abrams started it off. First play of the game for the Senators, took it to the house. I think that was about a 60-yard run. I'm
something
sure,
like that,
something around a 60-yard run. He ended up finishing with 2 touchdowns and 90 yards on the ground. But they really spread the love. Deuce Williams had a long run for about 50 yards for a touchdown. Jordan Thomas had a long run for about 50 yards. They were really spreading the love around, and it turned into a fantastic game for the Senators.
Well, at the center field, the lone captain for the Senators is Josh Smith, who has had just an incredible season so far as one of the top safeties in the conference, recently committed to Harding University. Just a couple of weeks ago, the reigning Division II national champs for football, and then the 4 captains out there for Pine Bluff. One of them, number 50, Keon Collins, kind of losing their numbers now, but they head back to their sideline. The Zebras are going to be going out. Now, you probably can't see from our camera angle, but to the right by the J. Thomas May Fieldhouse, they have the big zebra head where the players run out of, and it's pretty detailed. It's got the sun-kissed logo on it as well, but I just can't get enough of this stadium. I don't know when the stadium was built, but it had to have undergone some recent renovations as the Senators heading out onto the football field to try to stay to try to make this winning streak 8 games. And, of course, Pine Bluff, they are trying to come away with their 3rd win of the season. They are coming off a win against Watson Chapel. It was their last away game of the season. Looking at the schedule that Pine Bluff had, they started off slow against 2 teams that were out-of-state schools, Millwood and Kimball. Always kind of tough to play competition outside of the state. But three road games, one of them against Watson Chapel, which is right down the road, 2 others, BB and Jacksonville, which are not too terribly far from here, just about an hour away for both of them. And here are the Zebras running out onto the Simmons Bank field. And, Jake, I know this is a game that these 2 teams, and we've talked about it when Whitehall came to Charlie George Stadium in Little Rock. Their record did not necessarily show the talent that they had. They just had sort of an unfortunate schedule, if you will. But Pine Bluff, their defense, despite their offensive shortcomings, their defense still holds up pretty well.
Yeah, their defense has been holding up pretty well all season long. And I feel like when you have some consistency on defense that really kind of elevates your team and to the level that you're playing at, I think it's easier to find consistency on defense when everybody knows their job and is doing their job correctly. Things work out on the defensive side of the football, and it's really easy to come together as a unit, and they've obviously capitalized on that this season.
Of course, a great Searcy team that Robinson faced off against last week. They faced off against the week before, only allowed 28 points by a high-scoring Searcy football team that had been averaging just over 39 points per game. They held them to 28, and they were pretty close to getting a victory, losing 21-28 to the visiting Lions, and then only allowed 6 points in last week's road matchup against the Watson Chapel Wildcats.
You know, I wanted to highlight another game that's going on in the 5A Central. Maumelle is going to be taking on the Searcy Lions this week, and that could end up being somewhat of an important game to keep the Hornets in the race for the 5A Central title. If they win tonight and then win against the Robinson next week, they'll end up winning the 5A Central title. So that could be end up being a really big game for them, and as well, this is still a big game for the Senators. You know, the title is not locked up yet for either of those schools.
No, it's not. I mean, of course, the clear favorite is the Senators, but like you said, Maumelle and Searcy both right there with it, and Pine Bluff, we've talked about multiple times, they have this great defense. They were on near upset watch against Searcy a couple of weeks ago. Always a chance for that to happen again here in Week 8 or Week 10, 9, whatever week it is. Hand off to the running back for the Zebras and gets about 3 yards out of the play.
I think that was Tank Reese who ended up bringing him down after a couple of linemen got some hands on him to slow that running back down coming through the middle.
Wouldn't be surprised. He has 84 total tackles on the season. I mean, he was incredible last year in only 5 games, averaged 10 tackles a game, and he's been incredible again this season. Quarterback Devontae Wallace at the helm for the Zebras, was the backup to Landon Holcomb last season. And he's really lacked some experience, but he's definitely come along later on in the year, and that play gets about 2 or 3 there.
Yeah, Josh Smith, he read it well. He just went too far upfield, and he got caught up on the play, and they cut it on the inside of him, and they ended up getting a decent gain of about 4 yards on that play. It could have been stopped early if Josh Smith just got a little bit ahead of himself.
That was the senior Tristan Helms on the reverse sweep. 2 receivers to the left. Man in the backfield. Wallace looking at his sideline. DeJuan Hayes, the running back, to the right of his quarterback. Receiver in motion is Helms. And Helms wide open on the right side. Nobody there. Helms going down the sideline to the 45. Breaks an ankle. 30. Finally gets dragged down. Deuce Williams and Michael Hayes both in on the tackle, but no one picked up the receiver going in motion. A huge play for the Zebras, and they're knocking on the red zone right now.
I wouldn't say it was trickery, but that was a really, really impressive play that they drew up right there. Nice little fake, and then look over to the right, and you got a wide open tailback running free on the right side.
I think some of the defensive backs are going to be running next week in practice because that's sort of elementary. You got to pick up every player on the football field. Doesn't matter if you think they're going to run the football or not. This time they will run it with Hayes. Hayes gets a good push from his line, keeps his feet churning. It's maybe 6 or 7 on that first down run.
You know, that's why they do that motion, though. They try to confuse the defensive backs and the linebackers, and they get them all mixed up, and they don't know who they're supposed to be covering, who they're supposed to be looking at, who they're supposed to be on, and stuff like that happens. You end up leaving a guy wide open to run 60 yards down the field.
2 receivers on the left, 1 on the right. DeJuan Hayes has still been an incredible running back this year, had 116 rushing yards, a couple of touchdowns in their win over the Wildcats last week. 4 seconds, 3 on the play clock, and the Zebras are going to have to call timeout. So Michael Williams is going to have a second to talk over with his crew, but we're going to stay right here. Jake, of course, that big play really set this team up into good position in the red zone.
Yeah, no, I think that was a smart call by head coach Michael Williams for the Zebras to get that timeout called because they were ahead of the sticks there. You know, you only got a few yards to the first down, and all of a sudden you get a delay of game penalty, pushes you back 5 yards, totally changes the momentum of how that drive was working. So nice job by him to call the timeout because you got to capitalize on such a big play of 60-plus yards right there. You really need to capitalize on that and getting to the end zone, being so close to it. Especially to start this game, I'm sure they've got somewhat of an underdog feeling on this sideline for the Zebras. You need to throw everything you can at them, at the Senators, and try to come out hot early.
Well, looking at what they've done, their scores of the last 4 or 5 weeks, since week 4, their first win against Jacksonville, their offense has been better. They only put up 6 points in the first 3 weeks of the season, 0 points against a 4A opponent in Camden Fairview. But they've just been looking better, and as they hand it off to the receiver, and he slips, and that's going to bring up third down. That was Jason Jones, who was in motion, and of course this time the Senators probably keeping an extra eye on any man that goes in motion for the Zebras.
I think he probably would have got 2 or 3 yards out of that, maybe even a first down if he wouldn't have slipped. So yeah. I think the Senators were pretty lucky that he slipped there and didn't gain any more yards out of that.
I know it rained yesterday. Do you think that the field might have, possibly still could be wet?
It was raining this morning. I don't know if that's really going to play a factor. This AstroTurf, it dries up pretty quickly, especially in the sun. Ball's out, but he was definitely down.
They gave it back to Jones, also again running the other way in motion, and just didn't work that time. And
I don't know if you've noticed, but they're running to that right side again, and that was something that I believe it was White. Was it Whitehall or was it BB?
It was BB.
It was BB that was just slamming that right side. Obviously, opposing coaches are seeing something on film that's giving them the idea that running to the right side is going to work out for them.
Well, just from what I'm seeing and why BB was doing that, and Coach Escola made that point when he was talking to us, Caleb Doucette was not healthy and was not able to play. I don't see him on the field right now. And quarterback, he's going to take it, and what a catch by the receiver. That was Quentin Roy with a tough grab.
That was a good job by quarterback Devontae Wallace. I mean, he moved up in the pocket, found his man, and threw a strike right to him.
Zebras going quick here. Handoff to the running back is that's Jones, and Jones gets planted in the backfield, doesn't get much.
Dominio Patterson was the first one back there. He broke through that tackle, but that slowed him up enough to get a couple other Senators to rally around him and end up making the tackle for loss.
Of course, like I mentioned, I haven't seen Caleb Doucette on the field. Not sure. He was back last week, had a huge game in that win over Searcy. They missed him, but they were glad to have him back, and not sure if he's still hurt. Maybe they're resting him this week, preparing him for the Maumelle game or for the postseason. Not sure. Don't quite have injury reports in high school. Hands off again to the running back. Touchdown, Zebras! That was DeJuan Hayes, who had the blockers out in front of him, and that was too easy of a touchdown for the Zebras.
If you're Coach Williams for the Zebras, you've got to be very happy with that first drive. Really came out and jumped all over the Senators. The Senators' defense looked a little stunned. They're really stretching the field out on them, running side to side, really trying to get to the sideline, and it's working out for them. At least on that drive it did. So the Senators are going to have to come back and find an answer for that.
MD Rahat on for the First Community Bank extra point attempt. Wallace to hold. There's a flag. It's going to be on the Zebras. Somebody flinched on that Zebra offensive line. We'll back them up just a little bit. Well, as the Senator offense is going to get prepared to come out onto the field, Jake, what is it that they need to do to bounce back and to answer after that Zebra score?
I mean, I don't think you get away from what your identity is. That what they do best is run the football. They run it. They've got a stable of running backs back there who can get it done as that field goal is good for the Zebras.
That was a close one. It looked like one of the Senators was going to come in and block that one away, but doesn't matter. The Pine Bluff Zebras are on the board for the first time tonight after that extra point attempt. And now the Senators are going to have the football and try to answer back here at Simmons Bank Field.
But going back to what you were saying, I expect Coach Escola to come out here and at least get the run established. Pound that rock. That's what they do. They've got Nick Abrams back there, Deuce Williams, who's just extremely speedy when he gets out into the open field, and so is Jordan Thomas. When you have those type of athletes that can run the football, it's hard not to be dedicated to the run when your offense comes out here.
I think a nice kick return would also help some things, as Jordan Thomas, Deuce Williams, and Malachi Muhammad are all back to receive.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a onside kick here. I know their defense has been the best part of their team so far this year, but you're up on a very talented opponent in Joe T. Robinson, so you might want to try to jump out on them again, keep that momentum on your sideline.
Kicker and quarterback Antoine Miller out to kick off for the Zebras, and
squib kick.
It's a bit of a squib. It goes to, I believe, Muhammad. Muhammad sheds one tackler, can't shed the next 2 or 3, 4, and he's down about the 29, 30-yard line.
I can't even remember the last time we saw a team kick it to one of those athletes deep, trying to return it for the Senators. They've got too much talent back there for you to kick it deep.
No, it would be one of the most clueless plays that an opposing team can run. There's just so much athleticism on that Senator sideline, and that's not even including guys like Michael Hayes, who really doesn't return a lot of kicks, but definitely could. Mm-hmm. And he has elite speed, and even guys like Josh Smith, I mean, he's an athlete. I would like to see him probably go out there and return some kicks. But Nick Abrams in the backfield behind his quarterback, Tyson Braden. Man in motion, that's Nick Tyler moving to the right side. Now another man in motion. Hand off to Abrams. Abrams, maybe 1, maybe 2 yards on that first down carry.
Yeah, he got hit right at the line of scrimmage, and he managed to wiggle his way for maybe a yard or 2. So he picked up something, but not much.
So far this season, Abrams has 507 rushing yards. Can add maybe 1 more, so 508 after rushing 78 times this season. Really not a lot of rushes coming from Abrams recently. He's been able to pick up the big plays, but he's been sharing the load with Jordan Thomas and Deuce Williams. Now Braden back to pass, throws it to Todd. Todd, it was a tad in front of him, but Todd's able to haul in the catch, and that'll be 3rd and very manageable.
That was a nice pitch and catch right there. It was close. There was a defender right there, but he got it there. He got it to the receiver just in time to make that catch, and now they're going to have a 3rd and short.
Yeah, if that defensive back probably had turned his head around sooner, he probably would have maybe not come away with the interception, but at the very least a pass breakup. Braden looking to throw left side, has a man open. They at least have a first down, and I believe that is Malachi Muhammad, his first catch tonight. But I got to talk – we've been talking about him a lot this year, but Malachi Muhammad has been one of the best stories on the Senator football team. He was not a part of the receiving rotation early in the year, and really not for the first 4 games of the season. But for the last 5 games, he has been the team's leading wide receiver with 210 receiving yards on just 16 catches, and again, in just 5 games. And Abrams breaks through somehow, looking like Houdini. Nick Abrams coming away with another first down for the Senators.
Breaking a couple tackles, and he goes rumbling and stumbling and fumbling all the way up to the first down marker and gets a little bit more. Nice run right there by Nick Abrams.
I think it just every other Zebra on the field thought that defensive line had him hemmed in, but he somehow broke away. Empty set for the Senators. Braden looking right, has a man open. It's Grimes. Grimes, maybe 6 yards on that reception. That'll be Grimes' 9th catch of the season. He's sort of a short play slot receiver for this team. Abrams back behind his quarterback. 2 receivers on the left, 1 on the right. Handoff to Abrams. Abrams just short of the first down, maybe gets 2 yards on that second down carry. So let's call it 2nd and 3 now for the Senators. Or excuse me, 3rd and 3.
The Zebras have some decent size in the middle of that defensive line of theirs, so it might prove to be a little bit tricky trying to get your running back up the middle for the rest of this game. You might want to try to run it outside a little bit, try to get your running back in open field.
The Senators bring in Cam Harper to also play some fullback. He also plays D-line. Nothing there for the Senators, deciding to run for it on 3rd down. It will bring up 4th and manageable, and I think the Senators are going to decide to keep the offense on the field. There is no movement on that sideline whatsoever, so John Tate stays on the bench, and Tyson Bradden and company are set to convert on 4th and 3.
Big 4th down here to start the game. There wasn't even a blink of the eye between Escola and Bradden. I think everybody on the Senator sideline and on that field knew that they were about to go for this one.
And there's going to be a timeout by the Senators. They're going to talk some things over. I think it's a little bit, I don't want to say it's out of range for John Tate if they just want to get some points on the board. But we have not seen John Tate kick it very far this year. Of course, for those of you that do not know, John Tate, replacing his brother William Tate as the starting kicker, punter, kickoff man, whatever. But he's coming back from a torn ACL, and frankly 2 torn ACLs in consecutive years after playing soccer for the Senators, and he came back mid-season, and he's been able to kick some extra points. He's been a little streaky, but in practice and warm-ups, he just looks incredible kicking from 50 yards out. So this would definitely be his range, but I think Escola has plenty of confidence in his offense, and I don't blame him. With the season they have had so far, the production they have had, 2 receivers close to the line on the right, 1 receiver on the left side. Nick Abrams behind his quarterback. Michael Hayes in motion. Fakes the handoff. He's going to throw it now to Campos. Lennox Campos is stopped.
He's going to be short.
And that is a turnover on downs for the Senators.
That was a nice play call, but they were running man, and they were running man defense for the Zebras. They were all over it. They knew exactly who their guy was, and that's what ended up forcing the turnover on downs.
And that's always disappointing. That's Campos' first catch of the season, and it ends up not being what he anticipated.
So I'd like to see this defense come out and rally back. I know that wasn't a very good showing from them the last time they were out there. So let's see if they can get a couple things fixed.
Hand off to the running back and tackled hard by Jaden Todd, coming over from that cornerback slot. And I do see Caleb Doucette on the field on the edge for the Senators. That is good to see. They may be trying to keep him limited, even though he had such a huge week against Searcy.
You said he's on the sideline?
No, I see him. No, he's on that. He's that right edge rusher.
Okay, I see him.
Would love to see a huge play on 2nd and long by the Senator defense. Another handoff, but this time the quarterback keeps it. Maybe he gets 1 yard out of that play. But
this is what you need to do if you're the Senator defense. You got to get a couple early stops in on 1st and 2nd down, and then put them in a 3rd and long situation and make this a really difficult to convert.
It is 3rd and 8 from the Zebra 29-yard line. Empty set. 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Biggest 3rd down of the game so far with 1:35 left to play in the first quarter. Reese showing blitz. That's exactly what they're going to do. Finds his man open, and that's a 1st down for the Zebras. Wallace connecting. I believe that was Tristan Helms there. His 2nd catch of the game.
Deuce Williams with the tackle. He looked a little confused looking over at the sideline after he made the tackle, like he wasn't sure Maybe the coverage was a little broken. I think maybe that a couple guys were running different coverages out there, but nice job. That was just a nice job by that Zebra offense to find the guy open in the middle.
Well, Wallace, even though he's just thrown the ball just a couple of times tonight, he's looked really in control so far. He's found his favorite target, Helms, a couple of times. He pulls that one out and chased down. I believe that's Caleb Doucette making the tackle. It's hard to get past Caleb Doucette. He has excellent speed and athleticism for a defensive end.
Yeah, no, they look really confident out there right now. They look really in control, and it's...
Well, they're keying in on that quarterback option play. He's pulling it out from his running back. But that defense, they're keeping an eye on both players, and they're not letting either of them go anywhere. Quarterback, Wallace finds his man Helms again, going to be short of the first down. The ball's loose, but Helms was down by contact.
I don't even know if that was a catch. That was really quick.
Yeah, that was a quick play. Helms, a nice grab. And that will be the end of the first quarter. So far, a low-scoring affair, like what we see a lot here at Simmons Bank Field. The Zebras strike first with a 7-0 lead over the visiting Joe T. Robinson Senators. We will be right back here on the Robinson Sports Network.
A house, it's a home, and it's part of the neighborhood, and of course part of the community. And you want to build stuff that they'll take pride in.
Well, that's where they're making their memories.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where they're raising their families.
Without the bank getting us to that next step, we can't do it.
It's nice to be able to call someone at the bank and say, hey, you've worked with us for all these years. This is what we're thinking about doing. Can we pull the trigger on this today? Oh, my stars. It is just so much easier to bank with First Community.
And welcome back to Senator Football on the Robinson Sports Network. The Zebras switch to the other side of the field now as they are about to play 3rd and 2 from their own 49-yard line.
The Senators are coming off a 3-game stretch of playing at home, and I think you can tell they're on the road here, and they've come out pretty slow. They need to pick it up.
And stopped at the line of scrimmage. That was Hayes.
All over it right there. That's going to bring up a 4th down, and this is going to be big. They need to get some momentum on that sideline, and this is exactly how you do it right here. Get a big stop on 4th down and get the ball back to your offense.
Well, considering you are playing at a Division I football stadium, even though they brought a fair amount of fans, it does not look like they brought enough, and that's just how it is in a stadium that can typically seat about 20,000 people. No matter how many people you bring, if it's not 20,000, it looks pretty empty. So they have to get that sideline involved.
I assumed that they were going to go for it right there. They're going to get, I guess that's a delay of game? No, it's a false start.
Yeah, it's going to be a false start on the Zebras, so it will back them up. We'll give them a little bit more room to punt.
Honestly, that's probably not a bad idea. You back them up a little bit and you might be able to down that ball before it hits the end zone. But I was kind of surprised that they were punting right there. You're in no man's land, right around the 50-yard line. Only 2 yards to go.
You had momentum.
You definitely had momentum. I think that would have been the spot. But you also don't want to give that Senator offense any kind of momentum of giving them the ball in really good field position.
Yeah. And now James Ento, the center, is set to punt the football away. There is a stoppage in play, no flag. Not sure what this stoppage is about. It could be about the game clock. Looks like everything has been settled, and we are ready to play this 4th down. Deuce Williams back to receive for the Senators. Into, he bobbles it. It may have been blocked up in the air. And the Senators run away from it. And they have pretty good field position as that ball is going to be down at the 37-yard line. But Into, it was a bad snap, first of all. But Into could not get a hand on it. Somehow gets it away.
The Zebras got away with a lot right there. The ball bounces. Somehow the punter picks it up and manages to punt it while he was getting tackled at the same time and managed to get it past the line of scrimmage. That was honestly that was kind of impressive by the punter. That should have been a disaster for them.
Now Jordan Thomas is the running back out onto the field for Robinson. Like we've talked about, it's not just Nick Abrams' show. It's a lot of different running backs. They have 4 running backs that have up over 100 yards on the year, and Thomas still going, but that is a big loss for the Senators.
He had no shot right there. As soon as he got the ball, there was 4 Zebras right in his face.
I believe that was Julius Stribling, nicknamed Juju, coming in and finishing off that big play for the Zebras. So it is 2nd and 15 from the 33-yard line. 2 receivers either side. Thomas behind his quarterback, Braden. Braden looking right, going deep. He's got a man open and complete. I believe that might be Michael Hayes. I think it is. I need some binoculars. Trying to find these jersey numbers.
Some binoculars.
Oh, no, that's not Michael Hayes. I'm sorry, I cannot tell who that is. I thought I had good eyesight. Maybe I don't.
I can't tell either. So.
It's either Kyron Grimes. It looks like a 0. I know it's not. Anyway, a big first down for the Senators, and they're setting up shop at the 43-yard line of, I was about to say the Golden Lines, of the Zebras. Handoff to the running back, Thomas, burst of speed.
Still going.
And he gets maybe 7 yards on that carry.
That was a nice little pickup by Thomas, breaking a few tackles and getting a couple extra yards out of it.
And just like that, the Senators have some offensive momentum, and they're pushing the Zebras back into their own territory.
Seems like the Senators team is starting to wake up now on the road for the first time in 3 weeks. This is the time you want to wake up. You're down 7 early on in this ball game. It's time for the Senators to do what they do best.
Yep, exactly. Last away game was almost a month ago, October 4th against Jacksonville, at Jacksonville, where they took care of business in 3 straight home games. And now Braden hooks up with Malachi Muhammad again, this time for actually a 2nd straight first down to a senior wide receiver.
Nice little pitching catch right there from Braden to Muhammad. You spoke on it earlier. They've got the connection going. They didn't have it earlier on in the season, but Muhammad's kind of his go-to guy right now.
Well, those 2 touchdowns against BB, that was sort of the game that made everybody realize, okay, Malachi Muhammad is wide receiver 1. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Thomas can't decide which side he's going to stand beside his quarterback, but he's now behind him. Braden under pressure. And Danny Johnson.
We got some laundry far side of the field.
Yeah, we have a flag on the field, but as it stands, Danny Johnson coming up with a huge sack. We will see what this call is. I don't think either side quite knows. But Danny Johnson coming up with a huge sack. He had 3 last week against Watson Chapel. He has multiple collegiate offers to play at the next level, including Arkansas Tech and his hometown Arkansas Pine Bluff. And it will be on the Zebras to take that sack off the board. It was holding on the defense. So the Senators are now entering the red zone and knocking on the door of the end zone.
That is unfortunate for the Zebras. You get a huge sack, but you get the penalty at the same time, which just totally negates that excellent play by their defense.
two receivers to the right, one to the left. That's Muhammad on the left side. Keep an eye on him. Michael Hayes in the slot on the right. Jordan Thomas goes in motion, and that play is whistled dead. Okay. It's going to be a flag on the Zebras.
Encroachment.
And can't hear much between this glass and the headsets, but we could hear the groan from the Zebra fan base coming out to support their team. Not happy with that call. But let's be honest, no fan base is happy with any call.
Yeah.
Every call, either side is going to be upset.
Officials have a tough job. You can't make everybody happy.
Same formation for the Senators. Muhammad on the left, Hayes on the right. The hands off to his running back, Thomas. I believe that was his legs that I saw go flying. He gets a few yards.
You know, you'd think the officials would favor Pine Bluff. They're both the Zebras, you know what I mean? You'd think they...
Yeah. That's a good point, Jake. I
was just thinking.
I never thought about it like that. Well, and sometimes you have home cooking as well, but so far the Zebras feeling like they don't have that. Two receivers on the right, one on the left. Tom is in motion again. Braden under pressure and getting to him. Guess who? Danny Johnson. Another, this time, no flags. He gets the sack. Big loss for the Senators.
I'm not sure what the offensive line is doing, but it seems like every other play there's a free man running right into Braden or whoever the running back is face. They've got the Zebras are all over them right now.
Danny Johnson was an all-state player last year. 11 tackles for loss last season. He has, for a defensive tackle, let me give you his measurements. He's 6 foot, 285. He has 4.7 speed. That is just incredible. Braden back to pass, going deep. He's got a man open in the end zone. Touchdown, Senators! Braden hooking up with this receiver. I believe that's Jaden Todd. You got to bear with me. I can't see that far. I believe that was Jaden Todd on the touchdown. That is his 4th touchdown on the season, 12th catch for the sophomore wide receiver. And now John Tate on for the First Community Bank extra point attempt.
You know, you just got to give a lot of credit to Tyson Braden right there. He's had defenders in his face basically this whole entire first half of the ball game, and he still got the poise to look around, find his open man, and hit him into the corner of the end zone.
And Tate, his kick is good. And as John Tate rattles in that extra point attempt, let's hear from our sponsors, First Community Bank. Get ahead of your finances with First Community Bank with one of their personal or business checking options. First Community Bank, where the Senator community comes first.
That was a nice drive by the Senators. It was, extended with a couple of penalties on the Zebras. So can't get too confident, but that definitely gives you some momentum. Your defense comes out, gets a stop. Your offense gets the ball and takes it right down to the field into the end zone from a beautiful pass from their quarterback Tyson Braden to the receiver Jaden Todd. Nice job to kind of get ingratiated into this road environment finally. After the first quarter of not really getting anything successful to happen.
Well, we got to shout out Tyson Braden, who so far throughout, it seems like every week, he's just gotten better, more in control of the game. And, of course, he's already played high-level football in his high school career, playing at 7A North Little Rock last year, had some really good numbers on a team that really just struggled overall. I think only had 3 wins on the year. But so far, he continues to get acclimated with all of these young receivers. And, of course, as he does that, he continues to rack up the college offers. Just last night, pretty late last night, he announced he received 2 college offers from Capital University in Ohio and Minnesota North College Vermillion in, Minnesota. So as far as I can tell, that is his 4th college offer of the year. That's huge for a quarterback here at Joe T. Robinson.
Was that John Tate, or is that
That is John Tate. So
he's automatic. It's just automatic into the end zone every time he kicks the football on kickoff.
It wasn't pretty that time, but it doesn't matter. He had the leg to it, and he's a player that, even though William Tate was doing an excellent job kicking for the Senator team, Coach Escola was very excited to learn that John Tate was going to be back sooner than anticipated, and he's done pretty well. And in the little things that don't show up on the stat sheet, he's been, I think there's probably been one kick that I remember that was not a touchback this year. He's just done an excellent job on special teams for Robinson. Now Wallace with Hayes back behind him to the left, 2 receivers to the right. Man in motion is Helms. Handoff to Hayes. Hayes gets through a couple of tacklers, but is tracked down. I believe that was Corey Crusterson tripping him there.
In a game on the road like this, where I think it's a lot tighter than what a lot of people anticipated, it's very important for the defense to get things together and get a stop. Because if you let the Zebras score right here, you're right back in the same position you were just in. You've got to come out here and try to get a stop.
And do you think playing on a college football field has something to do with it? I mean, it just looks bigger as the Senators come up with a big stop on second down. But do you think that, I mean, you look at this stadium, and it is a lot bigger, even though Joe T. Robinson has a very nice stadium, a very big stadium for a 5A school. This is just so much bigger than anything they played in.
You know, I think it might play a little bit of a factor, especially since the Zebras have been playing here all year, so they've already been adjusted to playing on this at a very nice campus, on a very nice field. They've already kind of been a part of this already, so I think that might play a little bit of a factor, but I wouldn't look too much into it.
3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Wallace. Looking, he's trying to escape, still looking downfield, has a man open as it stands as a first down, but there is a flag on the field.
That's what I was about to say. I think he threw that ball past the line of scrimmage. There was an official that threw a flag about in the middle of that play, so I'm not sure what this is for.
Well, it looks like the Zebras are about to back it up here. Yep, it will be on the offense. It was a nice pass from Wallace connecting to his senior receiver, Jason Jones.
Looking back at it on the monitor over here, though, he definitely threw that ball past the line of scrimmage.
Well, one way or another, it was going to be a penalty against the Zebras, and now they are setting up at around the 12, 13, call it 12.5-yard line.
So 3rd and very long.
3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left.
Empty. And we saw the last time they were in this empty formation, they completed a very nice long ball over the middle of the field. So see if they aim for that area of the field again.
Senators backing up here. Wallace going deep, overthrows. Michael Hayes almost had a finger on it. No flags. And the Zebras are going to have to punt this football away.
He just launched that one. He was hoping that his receiver could get under it, but he was double covered. Nice job by the Senator defense to expect the pass and cover get all the guys covered.
And as the Zebras get ready to punt this football away, both bands, the Senator and the Zebra band, mostly just the Senator band, playing, I don't know what you call that. They have their phone flashlights on and waving at the opposing. Oh, now the Zebras are getting into it, and that's going to be a low punt. Deuce Williams, he's going to pick that one up. Deuce, he's dangerous off kick returns, and he's able to get up close to the 30-yard line. So a decent return.
About 15 yards.
I would have said just let it bounce, but I don't have Deuce Williams' speed.
Well,
so
he thought about it for a second. When he was watching it, and as soon as it took the right bounce, he was like, okay, I'm going to grab it. And I think he took off with it. I like Deuce Williams' instincts, and he got a good 15-yard gain out of it.
And even though it seemed like the Zebras were ready to tackle him, put him back there, he still outran everybody.
And I think we're about to see I think we're probably going to see him in the backfield on this drive.
You're exactly right. It's kind of easy to anticipate which running back comes in at least in the first half, it's usually your starter, Nick Abrams, then they put in Jordan Thomas, then it's Deuce Williams, and then you never know from there on out. But it is Deuce Williams to the right of his quarterback. Now he goes in motion. Braden looking left. He's going to take off. Or no, he's not quite. He's looking downfield. Deuce Williams! Touchdown, Senators!
My gosh. Tyson Bratton throwing a strike down the field to Mr. Deuce Williams, who is right there in front of the end zone, and he stretches his arms out for 6.
Well, I was certainly fooled by Brad, and I thought he was going to take off and run. He's been doing that more recently, but he found Deuce Williams for only his 4th catch of the season, first receiving touchdown for the junior, I would say wide receiver, but he plays every position on the football field. Now John Tate is on to kick the extra point, presented by First Community Bank. Tyson Bratton, the holder. Kick is up, and it is good. Tyson Bratton.
That's his second touchdown pass of the night so far. So this might be the Tyson Bratton show out here. I'd love to see a clinic put on by Mr. Bratton.
Well, we were both talking about it. Well, actually, really just you. You had mentioned at the very beginning of the game, you want to see this team respond from that first Pine Bluff score by running the football. Just play the old-fashioned ground game, run it down their throats, but they're passing the ball downfield. Bratton looking very comfortable. And this is a team, the Zebra team, has some pretty good defensive backs. They had a defensive back last week, Kayvon Stringer, had 2 interceptions last week in the win over Watson Chapel. Doesn't matter. He's still looking for his receivers, Jaden Todd and Deuce Williams, the 2 picking up touchdowns.
You know, I did say that I expected them to come out and run the ball, pound the rock like they have been doing all season, but I also said this is about the time that you need to start getting in playoff shape. You need to get out here and start really working with what you got to work with on the offensive side of the football. And as you can see, they are spreading the ball, spreading the love, and Tyson Bratton is all over it right now.
That kick is short of the end zone, but what a tackle by Jordan Thomas. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
He went flying. Helms taken down about the 9-yard line. So perfect special teams work. I think the entire Zebra side thought that kick was probably going to go to the back of the end zone. Does not. Ends up being an extremely short return. And Jordan Thomas, he's a great running back, but he can tackle.
He goes flying down the field and just launches himself and makes a great tackle right at about the 10-yard line and puts this Zebra offense in a very tough position now with 90 yards to go if they want to hit pay dirt.
I thought a helicopter was taking off at the 9-yard line. And now 2 receivers on either side. Wallace going to wait looking to his sideline. Running back Hayes behind him. Here's Wallace looking left. He has his man open. It's Jones. Jones, a decent, maybe 5-yard reception for the senior wide receiver.
You know, that's not something that we've seen from the Senator defense very often. On those little bubble throws like we've seen a lot of teams do against them all season long, they usually don't work. They're usually all over it, and you got a guy like Josh Smith or Michael Hayes flying in there for huge tackles for loss for the most part. So I doubt we see that be successful for them too much in this game.
Handoff this time to the running back. It's Hayes juking. Oh, and gets hit hard. I thought the ball was free for a second. Looked like that could have been Ahmad Booker coming in to lay the wood. Not sure who exactly it was, but there are several Senators that could be credited for that big tackle.
Man, I don't know what it is about this Senator defense, but anybody on that field can make a big hit. I'm talking about at any point in this game, you could see any of them out there just come in and lay the boom on somebody.
I mean, Jordan Thomas is not even a defensive player,
exactly.
And he laid the boom on Tristan Helms. Wallace rolling right, and that is picked off.
Yeah.
Picked off by the Senators. I am so sorry. I cannot see the numbers from here.
I think that was Kyron Grimes.
I think you're right. I think that is Kyron Grimes on the interception. His second interception of the season.
That was a great job by Kyron Grimes to get in front of that one. And if you were looking, hold on, let's make sure that's who it was on this replay here.
I think they need to wear black jersey numbers. It's really kind of hard to see the gold jersey numbers from all the way up here. But whoever it was, great job reading that play. He overthrew or underthrew his receiver. Not sure who Wallace was looking for.
Yeah, that's Kyron Grimes.
All right, it was Kyron Grimes.
We got to trust our eyes. We just got to trust our eyes.
I know. Either that or I need bifocals or something. You need to help me out here. But the Senators, in excellent field position, looking to put on another score in the first half with 3:20 left to play. Braden deep again. He's got his man caught.
Oh, my goodness.
Touchdown, Senator. Oh, I'm so sorry. Wait. Have you seen a sign?
Oh, yeah. No, that's a touchdown. That's a touchdown.
I didn't see a single referee throw up their hands.
It's a touchdown.
Well, that kind of spoiled the call for me.
Hey,
I thought I was stupid there. I thought he was down.
I'm just happy Tyson Bratton is just launched it right
now. Oh
my
goodness! Just 3 first-half touchdowns.
He's just got an eye for the end zone, tunnel vision. And anybody standing in the end zone, he's gonna hit you.
And do you think that was Jaden Todd again?
Let's see. That was. Yeah, it was Jaden Todd.
Wow, second touchdown of the night for Jaden Todd. And now John Tate, his kick is up, and it is good. And while we have a second, let's hear from our sponsors. Here at First Community Bank, we believe that investing in our communities provides us all with a brighter future. And it's something we've been doing since we were founded in 1997. We're proud to support the Senators in everything they do, not just because they are great athletes, but because they represent what makes community so special. People coming together to work hard and make something amazing happen. When you bank local, everyone wins. Go Senators! First Community Bank, where community comes first.
You know, I said they came out slow. They are not going slow anymore.
No.
They are hitting on all cylinders, letting it fire from anywhere on the field and getting what they want through the air.
Tyson Bratton, 3 first-half touchdowns. I think he had 3 first-half touchdowns a couple of weeks ago. He did against Watson Chapel. That was really his coming-out party. He's had 2 touchdowns in multiple games, 2 against Searcy, 2 against Jacksonville, and I know he was still throwing it around against BB as well.
You know, and that's I don't think I've said this all season, but it needs to be said. If you're an opposing team going against the Senators, you can't turn the ball over because that's the one thing that the Senators do well. They capitalize every single time they've gotten a turnover this season. It feels like they're going to put it in the end zone.
And we hear this. I think this is sort of an old saying: whoever wins the turnover battle wins the football game.
You know, that's just something good that you can always go back to. If you look at the stat book, a lot of times the winning team probably won the turnover battle. That's not a guaranteed win. I've seen it go the other way plenty of times, but it is a good indication of who's going to win that ball game.
And with how quickly you can score, that tends to help as well. That was just a 7-second drive, a 1-play touchdown from maybe just short of 30 yards out.
All right, so now since they're down 2 touchdowns, the Zebras are, and you can tell because they were already coming out here in empty formation, ready to try to sling this ball to get back into it.
3 receivers stacked to the right, 2 stacked to the left, and fools everybody, but Wallace doesn't get as much as he hoped for. The Senators were on that play immediately.
Good idea to stretch out that defense, get a bunch of defenders close to the sideline so that opens up the middle of the field a little bit, and they got 4 yards out of it, but I think they were expecting maybe a bigger chunk right there.
Well, Wallace has incredible speed, and Coach Michael Williams talked about him before the season. He kind of compared his agility level to that of a slot receiver. Mm-hmm. He's just extremely athletic, and so far he's shown it off a couple of times, but he hasn't been able to come away with a big run. Wallace looking, that ball was tapped.
Oh my goodness.
Up in the air. And
I don't know if that was Lennox Campos or Caleb Doucette, but one of those guys went back there and almost intercepted that ball.
wouldn't have been surprised if it was either one of them. Both of those guys have had incredible seasons so far. Doucette, if that was him, I think that probably would have been his 4th or 5th pass breakup of the year. Kind of hard to believe from a defensive end, but he's athletic. He's got a nose for the football. Just, it's kind of hard to say your defensive end is a ball hawk, but he kind of is. 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Wallace backing, looking deep, almost picked off. No flags. Good defense. It was Deuce Williams, and I want to say maybe Jaden Todd that were very close to picking that football off there.
I love to see the sportsmanship that we're seeing from the Zebras. Every single time that I've seen a Senator down and there's a Zebra nearby, he's helping them up. You don't see that very often, but you can tell that this team from the Zebras is very well coached, and they've got a lot of discipline and a lot of respect for their opponent on the other sideline. And just got to give them a shout out for that. I really love what I'm seeing out there from them.
Well, Coach Tana Scola, the Senators, had talked about in the pregame show that the Pine Bluff Zebras are one of those teams that can come onto their campus 24/7, 365 days of the year, just because they are very classy. They have a great staff. The players are very disciplined and just they're great people.
Yeah,
that's really
absolutely
what they are ahead of athletes.
I can tell just by watching them play out there. It seems that way.
Now the Zebras backed up a little bit farther as they are set to punt this football away.
Want to give a quick shout out to everybody tuned into our broadcast here on the Robinson Sports Network. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. Well, let's hold on a second while this ball's punted away.
It's a short punt. It's a high one. Deuce Williams gets a hold of it, and he doesn't get anything there.
Nice job by that Zebra coverage team.
It was a very nice job. He was hoping to come away with another solid return like he had the last time he had the football on a punt return. Doesn't quite get much of anything there. Now the Tyson Braden and that Senator offense back out onto the field. Look, 2:09 left to play in the first half. Are we going to say touchdown number 4 for Tyson Braden?
If I know Coach Escola, he's going to try to get another TD on the board for sure.
At the 50-yard line, you have 50 yards to go and just a hair over 2 minutes. That should be plenty of time, especially with how they've been rolling with the football in their hands so far tonight.
But again, thank you guys for tuning into this broadcast. If you wouldn't mind hitting that thumbs up and subscribe button, we'd really appreciate it. And we welcome all fans, whether you're for the Senators, and it's a nice pitch and catch right there, for the Senators or the Zebras. We just love shining a light on these young men and their athletic talent every Friday night, and that's all sports. So make sure you tune in every week. And next Thursday, where we will be broadcasting their football game at Maumelle. At the Maumelle Hornets next week.
3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Braden finds his man open, and that's an easy catch by Jaden Todd. There was a little bit of defensive miscommunication, and he runs out of bounds. Just about 13 seconds have gone off the board as the Senators have been able to put up 2 big passing plays on the board.
Jaden Todd is on one tonight. He's got 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns now, and he's already over 50 yards. He's really, really doing well for this Senator offense.
A timeout by the Zebras, but like you said, Jaden Todd, he's one of those players, and he's been making plays on defense as well. He's one of the other. I don't know if he's necessarily a starting corner, but he sure puts up numbers like he is a starting corner. Regardless, he's just had an incredible season, and he's just a sophomore. I mean, we talked about this a lot at the beginning of the year. And we sort of forgot about this mark, is that so many of the wide receivers in this room for the Senators are so young. A lot of them are sophomores. Kyron Grimes, Jaden Todd, Charles Petty, those are all sophomores. And even guys like, they do have a lot of seniors, but Deuce Williams, also a junior. So a lot of their offensive playmakers are pretty young. They haven't had a lot of varsity football under their belt so far in their careers, but they've just made big plays all season long.
They have it. I think that's just a credit to the culture that's at that Robinson program. You know, they've got a lot of I don't even know what the word is to describe it, but they've got a lot of discipline and great athletes over there at Joe T. Robinson.
It was Caden Pettis, the senior receiver. He's trying to run out of bounds, and he stumbles right before he can get there. He'll be down about the 26-yard line of the Zebras. And the Senators, they still have plenty of time to work with. Just 1:38 left to play in the first half.
Who caught that football?
I believe that was Caden Pettis, but with my eyesight at this range, can't quite be for sure. Two receivers either side. Pulls it out. Going deep, finds his man, and just out of the hands of Jaden Todd that time. Todd was wide open, but sort of had to reverse his hips and try to catch it over the opposite shoulder, and just was a little out of range.
Give a little score update for another 5A Central matchup. The Maumelle Hornets are trailing the Searcy Lions 10-7 right now with 7 seconds left to go in that first half of play. So that's a very close ball game going on that could have implications for the 5A Central.
And like you said, that was one of the top games being played in the state. But so far tonight, the Senators have been able to take control. 21-7 is your score with 1:22 remaining in the first half. Now the Senators have been backed up a little bit farther, and now they are in empty set. 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Braden finds his man, Pettis. Pettis makes a man miss. Pettis.
He's going to have a first down.
That is a first down, a huge play for Caden Pettis, making multiple defenders miss. Comes up with a huge first down, just his second catch of the night.
That was a 20-yard pitch and catch right there from from Braden to Pettis. So nice job for that connection.
Game clock now at 1 minute. Play clock at 16 seconds. The Senators now in the pistol formation. Thomas in the backfield. Braden looking right, finds his man. He got hit as he threw it behind his intended man.
If he would have connected on that pass, that was going in for 6. It was a nice little slant route. Nobody was in front of the wide receiver. Unfortunately, he had to let it go. I think just a hair earlier than what he would have liked to.
46 seconds left to play in the first half. The Senators setting up for 2nd and 10 from the 21-yard line. The Zebras playing prevent defense, obviously, as the Senators are just about in the red zone. Braden rolling outside a little high, but I think he got his feet in. Yes, he did. At this rate, that is Jaden Todd on the first down catch.
Nice job by Mr. Todd to get his feet down right before he goes out of bounds to stop that clock. They're running a nice little 2-minute offense drill, and it's working beautifully for the Senators.
41 seconds left as the Senators are at the 10-yard line. That's plenty of time to work with. If you've wanted to run the football a couple of times maybe, they still have 2 timeouts, and now the Zebras are going to burn through their final timeout of the first half.
Yeah, I think if you're Coach Williams, you had 2 timeouts in your pocket, or I'm sorry, I guess you only had 1 timeout.
Yeah, they only one time.
You only had the 1 timeout, and you might want to save it for try to force an offensive drive once you got the ball back. But I think it's probably a better idea for you to call a timeout here, get your defense on the same page, and try to maybe force a turnover. That's what you got to be rooting for here if you're Coach Williams for the Zebras.
Now, if you're Coach Escola for Robinson, do you still try to throw the football, maybe throw a couple short passes? You let some of the time go off to make sure that the Zebras don't have any time to possibly, even think of a quick score at the end of the half? Or do you try to maybe run the football or just try to go ahead and shoot for the end zone?
Well, them being in so tight, that looks like it could be a possible run, but I think they're going to throw it here.
Muhammad in Rotation. Braden breaks free, finds his man. Oh, that would have been a huge play for Jaden Carter.
I thought that was Malachi Muhammad.
No, Muhammad was already outside. He was in motion. I think he was towards the corner of the end zone, but that would have been Jaden Carter, one of the other senior wide receivers. Would have been a huge touchdown catch. I think that would have been his first of the year. And now we have a zebra down on the field. Can't see who it is, but I believe it's one of the defensive linemen. And looks like he's just going to get right back on up. I believe that is number 56, Jackson Davis. All-State player last season. Excuse me, not quite All-State, but still had a fantastic junior year with the Zebras. Been able to build off that momentum here as a senior for Pine Bluff. And now the Senators back out, try again. It looks like they are shooting for the end zone, not going to try to drain any clock. They want to get some points however they can. Well, this time they run the football with Jordan Thomas, and he gets a little bit closer, down about the 2-yard line. And now there is a timeout by the Senators. 26 seconds left to play in the first half, and the Senators are within an easy touchdown range here.
These last 2 minutes have felt like an eternity. They've marched all the way down the field, but they've still got 3 yards to go if they want to hit pay dirt, and there's only 26 seconds left on the clock. They've got 1 timeout left, so your options are still open on what you want to do. You definitely want to save that timeout in case you want to kick a field goal here. So they're going to try to throw it right here, and they might even try to throw it again on 4th down.
Well, they do have a comfortable lead of 2 touchdowns so far, so maybe don't try to do whatever it takes to get points. Maybe you can sacrifice giving up 3 to go for 6. As the Senators getting set up here, 2 receivers to the right. Running back still Jordan Thomas.
This is a big play right here for the Zebras. If they want to stay in this ball game, they need a stop right here before halftime.
Todd and Muhammad on the right side. Hand off to Thomas. Thomas! Almost untouched. Oh, and they will blow the whistle. Touchdown off the board. It will be, I believe, on the Senators.
What was the call?
I'm not sure. I don't even see a flag on the field.
I don't either.
And there was a mystery, an invisible flag somewhere. But the penalty's on the Senators, and they do back up a little bit. It is still 3rd and manageable for the Senator offense. 25 seconds left to play. Man in motion. Now 3 receivers on the left side, 2 on the right. Braden, a lot of miscommunication on the Zebra side. Braden looking for somebody. Oh, very close to an interception by the Zebras.
I think Braden thought about taking off with it, and then he just kept looking for a guy in the end zone. That was a dangerous pass right there. Definitely could have been intercepted. Probably should have been intercepted by the Zebras. But that's going to bring up 4th down, and I think Escola is going to settle for a field goal here.
Yeah, it will be John Tate set to kick this football for a First Community Bank field goal attempt. We haven't really had a lot of field goal attempts so far this year. I know there are a few against BB. But in most of the other games, it's been a whole lot of extra points, which is, of course, a great thing.
I think there might have been a couple at Jonesboro, I think.
Well, I'm just saying, as that one is up and good. Yeah, so 24-7 is your score with 16 seconds left to play in the first half as Tate drains the First Community Bank field goal attempt. But like we were saying, I mean, they're really, outside of Pulaski Academy and the Jonesboro games, and BB, there haven't been a lot of field goal attempts. And I'm just thinking about John Tate. He really hasn't been able to show off his leg outside of just extra point attempts so far this season.
No, you're right. Especially over the past 4 weeks. I think they attempted a couple field goals last week, or maybe it's the week before last that were ended up being missed. But other than that, there really haven't been a lot of times where they've needed to kick a field goal. They've been pretty dominant offensively.
Yeah, their offense has been efficient. They've been in a rhythm, and if they do have a fourth down laying in front of them, they decide to just keep the offense out on the football field and try to go for it on fourth. And whether it works or not, they still put up a bunch of points. And now the Senators set to kick it off here. John Tate possibly going to boot this one into the end zone again. Tristan Helms, one of the Zebras, back to return along with Kayvon Stringer. I believe Glenn Barnes, the fourth, is also out there for the Zebras. And there's Tate. That one will be in the end zone.
Touchback.
And it will be a touchback by the Zebras. Stringer wanted to take off with that one, but the Zebras will have the football at the 20-yard line. Do you think you just take a knee and just let this first half go ahead and, just go ahead and go into the locker room, or do you try to maybe come up with a running play, see what you can get as far as momentum-wise heading into the locker room?
I think I would take a knee here, but that's just me. I saw them really working on their passing in warm-ups to start this ball game, so they might come out here and try to launch one.
Now, if I was playing Madden, I would be putting up some points. Of course, I'd be on the opposite side of the scoreboard probably, but, I play on rookie mode most times, so, yeah, I would be the team leading by 3 touchdowns almost. But Wallace back. He's going to hand off to his running back. It's Hayes. Hayes is going to get a decent run out of that, about 6 yards, and now the time just going to go ahead and drain as they did not have any timeouts to use. So the Senators will be heading into – they're going for it. And there's a flag on the field. I was paying attention to the draining clock, not the team getting set up. There is a flag on the field. They're going to decline that penalty as the Senators just ready to go into the locker room. The Zebras thinking the exact same thing. But the Senators coming in here to Simmons Bank Field and leading 24-7 after a hot second quarter, especially by the quarterback Tyson Braden. Can't wait to see what the Senators put out onto the field against the Pine Bluff Zebras. So stay tuned for the second half here on the Robinson Sports Network.
Are you ready to embark on an exciting journey of learning and growth? Now is the time to register and become part of the Pulaski County Special School District family. PCSSD provides educational opportunities for families across more than 500 square miles. Discover endless possibilities, friendships, and unforgettable experiences that will shape your child's future. For more information about registration and school choice, visit pcssd.org/register. Join us as we build a brighter tomorrow, one student at a time.
It's not just a house, it's a home, and it's part of the neighborhood and of course part of the community. And you want to build stuff that they'll take pride in.
Well, that's where they're making their memories.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where they're raising their families.
Without the bank getting us to that next step, we can't do it.
It's nice to be able to call someone at the bank and say, hey, you've worked with us for all these years. This is what we're thinking about doing. Can we pull the trigger on this today? Oh, my stars. It is just so much easier to bank with First Community.
I would say school choice is a great option. You can do your research like we did. Visit with other parents that have children in the district. We visited the schools before we made the choice to come here. We chose to school choice because we have had such a great experience here. Teachers, staff have been so helpful and reassuring, and we've been forever grateful for it. And I'd do it all over again. PCSSD is a great option no matter where you live.
You ready to embark on an exciting journey of learning and growth? Now is the time to register and become part of the Pulaski County Special School District family. PCSSD provides educational opportunities for families across more than 500 square miles. Discover endless possibilities, friendships, and unforgettable experiences that will shape your child's future. For more information about registration and school choice, visit pcssd.org/register. Join us as we build a brighter tomorrow, one student at a time.
It's not just a house, it's a home, and it's part of the neighborhood and of course part of the community. And you want to build stuff that they'll take pride in.
Well, that's where they're making their memories.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where they're raising their families.
Without the bank getting us to that next step, we can't do it.
It's nice to be able to call someone at the bank and say, hey, you've worked with us for all these years. This is what we're thinking about doing. Can we pull the trigger on this today? Oh my stars. It is just so much easier to bank with First Community.
I would say school choice is a great option. You can do your research like we did. Visit with other parents that have children in the district. We visited the schools before we made the choice to come here. We chose to school choice because we have had such a great experience here. Teachers, staff have been so helpful and reassuring, and we've been forever grateful for it. And I'd do it all over again. PCSSD is a great option no matter where you live.
And welcome back to the Senator Football on the Robinson Football Network. We are live here from Simmons Bank Field on the campus of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. I'm Chris Gay, joined by my color analyst, Jake Hall. And Jake, 24-7 was your score at the end of the first half. The Senators just put it on the Zebras in that second quarter.
Yeah, they did. That's how I was expecting them to come out and start the ball game. But obviously, shaking off a little bit of rust, I guess. This is their first road game in about
October
3 weeks.
4th.
Yeah,
was their last one.
I've mentioned that a couple times on this broadcast, and you could tell as soon as they came out to start the ball game, they were just looking a little flat. Didn't seem like they didn't have a lot of energy, and the Zebras are really taking it to them on the offensive side of the ball, and they got a stop. A stop at the very beginning of the game, but the second quarter came along, and Senators woke up. They were not sleeping anymore. They really just put it to them. Did they score all of their points in the second quarter right there?
Maybe so. You know, I'm thinking about it. No, I think the Senators might have scored at the very end of the first quarter, but regardless, 24 points in that first half. That's more than they put up. No, my mistake. They put up 21 points in the first quarter of their game against Searcy. I was under the impression they didn't put up all their points, but they pretty much did. Anyway, but taking away from this game for just a second as they're going to extend the halftime period, let's talk about another game that is a part of the Natural State Sports Network. PCSSD school. Sylvan Hills taking on Sheridan High School. Go ahead and talk about that game, Jake.
Yeah, the Bears have been struggling all season long, and they are trying to pull off an upset of all upsets right now. They lead the Yellow Jackets 27-20 at halftime, and they're putting on an impressive display defensively and offensively. Right there, Sheridan went for it on fourth down at about their own 10, 15-yard line, and the Bears were just all over them. Got right in his face of the quarterback, and it ended up falling incomplete, and that's what let the Bears hold on to this lead going into halftime. I'm not sure who's going to get the ball to start the second half, but that's going to be an exciting one to keep looking at, and we'll make sure we keep you updated on the scores of that ball game, and as well as the Maumelle Searcy game. I'm not sure what that one was at halftime, but their broadcast is down for the moment, but it will be going back up as soon as that game starts their second half.
And let's make something clear. Sylvan Hills, they are searching for their first win of the season. This is a team that has not had a lot of success over the last couple of years, but they are looking just totally different in this game against Sheridan, which has had extremely high expectations ever since Kevin Kelly took over as a head coach of the Yellow Jackets. And Sylvan Hills, that was their best half all season long, and would love to see them get an upset win. Of course, that's a 6A school, has nothing to do with anything we're seeing here tonight and in the 5A classification or in the 5A Central Conference. But so far tonight, it's been a great outing for the Senators. Seems like there have been more Senator fans that showed up at halftime. Not quite sure, but I know they're loving what they are seeing from their Senator squad.
Absolutely. Going to fill you in. I found that score. So at halftime, the Maumelle Hornets trail the Searcy Lions 10-7. That's a close one. That one's got 5A Central implications on who has a possibility of taking the title at the end of the season. And it also that's just a big game in general. I know both those squads only have a single loss, I believe, a single loss in conference play.
Right.
A single loss in conference play. So two single loss opponents in conference. That's a good ball game for sure.
I know that the Senators, now Coach Escola, has talked about how he really doesn't care about anybody else that plays in the state. Only keeps up with his Senator team unless it's the team they play next week. So after this game concludes, he'll probably be keeping up with that Searcy and Maumelle score if it hadn't ended at that point. But that Maumelle game next week is, regardless of who wins tonight, that's going to be a fantastic football game. You all have to tune into that one next Thursday. Now for the Zebras are set to kick it off here. It is the backup quarterback, Antoine Miller. Plays kicker, plays some defensive line, and, of course, quarterback.
So somebody's in our comment section saying it's Tatum Hayes, not Jaden Todd.
On one of those touchdowns?
I'm not sure if it's on both the touchdowns or one of the touchdowns. I mean, we apologize. We're kind of up here. I should have been prepared and brought some binoculars because these jerseys for the Senators, the gold on the white, is just really hard to see from up here.
Very difficult.
And it's kind of hard to see on our broadcast as well. So if one of those touchdowns was Tatum Hayes, I mean, that's we apologize.
Well, unless you have a double-digit jersey number, and if it's look, the 6s, the 5s, the 8s, the 9s, those all kind of look the same from up here. So we do apologize, but there's not a lot we can do about it at the moment. So we're probably going to still get some numbers wrong on some of these players. But regardless of whoever, if it is Tatum Hayes, then he's having an incredible game. He's been one of the reserve receivers all season long, and that's going to be a very short kick. Jordan Thomas picked it up. I think he probably should have just gone down with it, would have saved himself from the contact.
He had some momentum running at that ball, and I think he thought he might have been able to score it through that coverage team and take it to the house.
Well, still pretty good field position for the Senators to start out with in the second half, as they are going to set up shop at the 44-yard line.
Coach Escola is definitely not going to take his foot off the gas.
No.
I bet he wasn't happy with having to settle for a field goal down there right before halftime. I'm sure he wasn't happy with that, so he's going to come out here and try to put 6 on the board.
Well, and you know, he does not like to start slow either. So I know he was still kind of getting on them for starting slow, and he wants to start this half better than they started that football game. And that run is going to go nowhere.
Was that Jordan Thomas right there?
I believe that was Nick. Nope, that was Deuce Williams on the first down carry. Gets tackled for a loss, loses just maybe a yard on the play. 2 receivers either side. Deuce Williams still the back in the backfield. 4-man front for the Zebras. Braden looking, got a man open on the sideline, and that was Caden Pettis. The short catch and run for the senior wide receiver.
He gained about 5 yards on that play, and kind of gets them into a more manageable situation now, 3rd and 9.
Two receivers either side once again. Deuce Williams still the man in the backfield. Tyson Braden set to pass here. Braden has a man open on the left side. That was Malachi Muhammad on the first down reception.
That was a nice job by Tyson Braden. He fitted in between 2 defenders right there to get it to Malachi Muhammad, who was open on right there next to the sideline. Great pitch and catch.
The Senators with the football at the 43-yard line of the Zebras now. Wide receivers bunched up next to the line. Braden still looking to his sideline, and the receivers trying to get set. Escola not happy at all. Not sure who he's more mad at, the wide receivers who weren't set or the quarterback who couldn't get it going. I think more so with the wide receivers. But the Senators will take the timeout. We will stay right here. But so far, a couple big plays, really just one big play to Malachi Muhammad to open the drive up. But outside of that, this has sort of been a slow opening second half drive. And, you know, we were just talking about it. We can kind of predict what Coach Escola is going to go with. He wants this team to start blazing. And they just quite haven't done that.
You know, we've seen in every game that I've called for them this season, it seems like they've really relied on the run. They have had a few games where it was maybe a little bit more balanced, where they were passing and running it at a lot of kind of equally. this game, it seems like they're relying on the pass, and I think that's going to help them later on in the season because it's going to make a lot of opponents make sure they're preparing for the pass as well, because I know they've been a lot of their opponents have been loading the box, preparing for the run, but now they're showing they can pass the ball and they can do it efficiently.
And that was a run that time. That was, I believe, Deuce Williams on the carry.
No, that was Michael Hayes. He was in motion.
Right. So Michael Hayes on the carry for the Senators. Deuce Williams in the backfield. Muhammad on the left side, the lone receiver, Todd, one of the two receivers along with Michael Hayes on the right side.
2nd and 6 for the Senators.
Handoff now to Williams. Williams doesn't get much there.
Gets maybe a yard. There wasn't really anywhere for him to go. The Zebras' defensive line did a good job of really closing down those inside gaps, and it really didn't give Williams any room to run.
So that brings up 3rd down for the Senators if they have the football, as they have, I guess. Maybe I should, I should have gotten something at concessions. That would have kept me going a little bit. But they have the football at the 39-yard line of the Zebras.
Big 3rd down in the second half.
Braden looking right, has a man wide open. It's Jayden Todd. Jayden Todd trying to make some men miss, and he gets the 1st down and a little bit more for the Senators.
Nice little 18-yard pickup by Jayden Todd from Tyson Braden. He was wide open, and he got a few extra yards after the catch that ended up getting a really nice gain and a 1st down.
Yeah, the defense sagged off of him, and Braden knew exactly where to go with the football, and Todd just – the run after catch ability for so many of these wide receivers is just such a lethal weapon for Escola to use. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Hands off to Williams. Williams, maybe a yard, not much at all. And look, we were talking about I keep saying you were talking about how this team, they like to run the football, but we haven't seen a lot of that, and it's not necessarily because they can't get into a rhythm. It's because this Zebra front is massive. I mean, it's leading the way is Danny Johnson, who definitely has ability to play at the next level, and so many other players that are just massive, and it's kind of hard for these players, or these running backs, as he's looking for the end zone. Picked off, and that's going to be the Zebras football. One receiver caught it, then lost it, and then another Zebra defender was in the right place at the right time, picked it up, and midair. All right, well, that was an unfortunate turnover for the Senators. They were within scoring range, and now, just like that, Pine Bluff has the football.
Yeah, I think Braden was really feeling it right there. He's hit 2 players already in the end zone in this ball game, and I think he thought he was about to hit another. I guess he didn't see that defender standing in the end zone waiting on the football. So unfortunate for the Senators, but now it's time for their defense to come out here and put out this fire and get the ball back for them.
Not the best field position for the Zebras, but they're just happy to get the ball off a Senator turnover. Just the 5th interception thrown this year by Tyson Braden. Handoff to the running back, and that was a near safety. He's going to get it to about the 1-yard line. So close to a safety for Pine Bluff. Woo.
Was that Dominio Patterson who got in the backfield right there?
I believe it was, but it was DeJuan Hayes on the carry, and those blockers were just overwhelmed in a hurry. And he was lucky that he was able to shed that first tackler.
That's the second time this ball game that Dominio Patterson has gotten in the backfield and just hadn't been able to bring the runner down. If he does right there, that's a safety. So I think they're going to send the house right here again.
2nd and long on the goal line. Handoff again. Gets a few yards. Gets up just about to where the original line of scrimmage was. But that was Hayes on the carry. He really has just not been able to get going in this game. The Senator defensive line and the linebacker core has been able to plant him down pretty quickly. But finally, the Zebras get a little bit of breathing room. It is 3rd and long from their own 5-yard line. They would love to just be able to get possibly a first down or a few yards. You never want to think about punting the football away, but sort of a foreshadowing event, and that was Hellums, and he is brought back to about the 1 or 2 yard line, and now the Zebras will punt this football away.
The Senators were all over it on this drive. They were not going to let them out of that their own end zone. They were going to make sure that they got the ball back for their offense because they came out and just dominated the Zebras' offense right there.
And now that the Zebras are going to be punting from their own 3-yard line, keep in mind as the punter stands in his own end zone, this is a team that has already gotten several special teams blocks. Deuce Williams has returned a special teams fumble recovery, actually, and that ball's free, and it's going to be a safety by the Senators. A second time tonight, the punter can't get a hold of the football, and that is a huge play for the Senators.
That's a huge mistake on special teams, and it cost them 2 points right there. You've got to figure out how to get those snaps down, and either way, if that snap would have been good, I think the Senators might have gotten back there in time to block it. They were all over it, and they were foaming at the mouth trying to get back there.
Well, the Senators will have the football. That was I would say, much needed 2 points, but 26-7 is the Senators' lead. I guess you always need more points, but they already had a pretty comfortable lead so far, and now the Senators will have the football after the Zebras kick this football away. The 3 main returners back for the Senators: Deuce Williams, Jordan Thomas, and Malachi Muhammad. Again, all electric returners for this team, the 2 seniors, the 1 junior. And, well, I thought that was a flag on the field. That is actually the kicking block. That's the second time this year I've called it by the wrong thing.
I think you were scrambling to try to find what it was called a couple games ago, and I think I might have given you the name.
Yeah, you're gonna have to give it to me again.
The
T. Gosh,
the T.
Goodness. Yeah, you had to tee it up for me. Goodness. Antoine Miller set to kick this football away. And it's a straight line kick to Malachi Muhammad. Muhammad, he's got blockers. He's going up that right sideline. Sheds a couple of tacklers, but finally is brought down about the 49-yard line.
Yeah, there's just nothing you could do if you're the Zebras when you're trying to kick the ball away. There's so many athletes down there just waiting to catch that football and take off, and Malachi Muhammad is one of them, and he ended up getting a gain of about 10 yards there.
I will admit their special teams tackling has been solid.
It has.
I mean, Williams and Muhammad have had returns, and they are electric, but they haven't been able to, come away with really big returns on special teams, off of punts or off of kick returns. So that's got to be something that the Zebras can take away as a positive. You always try to find at least one positive to take away, even in a loss. And of course, they have by no means have they lost this football game. There's still plenty of time on the boards. Crazier things have happened in football games. But 26-7 is your lead with 6:24 remaining in the third quarter. Braden, looking outside, has his man to the left. Pettis bobbled it, makes a man miss, gets about 9 yards on the catch and run.
That was a nice job by Pettis to wrangle it in. He bobbled it there for a second, but he ends up making the catch and gets the first down out of it.
What a game from Caden Pettis so far tonight. I think he's had about 4 or 5 receptions, and that's going to get him up over 10 receptions on the year. Was only coming in with 8 catches for 73 yards and a couple of touchdowns, and he's been a consistent option for Tyson Braden in this offense tonight. Now Nick Abrams, the running back to the right of his quarterback. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, and it's going to be a handoff to Abrams. Gets about 3 or 4 yards on the first down carry.
Nice job by Abrams. There wasn't really a lot of room there. Instantly ran into some zebras, but manages to fall forward and get 3 yards out of it.
He made a little something out of a whole lot of nothing there, and they will just say that he got 3 yards on that carry. It's a 2nd and 7 from the 37-yard line of the Zebras. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Braden looking to his 1 receiver on the left. He's going deep. There's a flag on the field.
That's going to be defensive pass interference.
Overthrows his wide receiver, Malachi Muhammad. And the Zebras are starting to back up here, so though the Senators couldn't connect on the big play, they will still get the first down here.
Yep, pass interference. I just want to say, man, I'm looking around this field. I love the corner of the end zone, these little hills with the trees.
Yeah.
I think it looks so cool, to be honest with you. I think that's a really cool look for this field.
You know, I have never, rarely do I ever come this way in Pine Bluff. I just haven't really gotten to venture out this direction, but this is the first time I've been here at Simmons Bank Field, and this is a fantastic football field.
No, I really like it. I like the looks of it. It's got a nice vibe to it for sure. Really, I think it really fits this school.
And you know, I usually don't like a yellow color, as that one is
Oh my
shoveled
gosh,
and
that's
that ball
on the
free.
ground.
And
Well, I'm actually he put that he threw that forward. That was a shovel pass. Well,
the Zebras, the referee signals they have the football. Coach Escola.
That was a shovel pass for sure.
Coach
It was a shovel
Escola
pass.
is motioning to the officials that was a shovel pass. They are going to talk this one over amongst themselves. Let's see what they decide to call. I think they're going to talk about this one. Yeah, they're trying to. They're all trying to say, did he actually shovel it forward? He clearly did. And
I love that the body motion, that the whole Senator sideline and all the refs, they're all like they all keep doing.
Oh,
that
and they
little
still
motion.
said, I think they still said zebra football.
No, but he didn't have control of it. I don't think. Like, yeah, you've seen the replay. Did he have control of it?
Well, regardless, it is zebra football here, as they will be setting up at their own 29-yard line.
No, he never got hold of the ball. He like bobbled it around and instantly dropped it. Yeah, no, it still should be Senator's ball. That's a bad call. They even talked about it. That's a bad call.
Well, that's the problem with not having replay for officials in high school. You miss out on crucial calls like that. As Hayes going to be tackled by Deuce Williams. A great wrap-up by the junior.
Nice job by Deuce Williams. Go flying in there and make the tackle for loss. There's a clean tackle, too.
Now, he probably learned how to tackle from his dad, Kevin Williams, Sr. Just those of you that do not know anything about his dad, you probably should do a quick Google search. One of the best defensive linemen of the early 2000s. One of the best players to ever come through Fordyce and had a great career in the NFL. Wallace throws it incomplete. He was very close to getting past his own line of scrimmage if he wasn't already past it, but Wallace keeps his head on a swivel when he's looking to pass. A lot of quarterbacks, especially running quarterbacks, typically once that pocket collapses, they're not looking to pass anymore. They're looking to just take off and run. He's looking to pass into the very last second. It is 3rd and long from the Zebras 30. Two receivers either side. Wallace. He's got time. Wallace, now he doesn't have any time. Trying to escape, trying to go deep, and just goes to the sideline. And that will bring up 4th down for the Zebras. We'll say excellent job by Wallace not getting planted in the backfield and just getting that football away. At first, I thought he was just going to just try to make something out of a disaster, which would have been even more of a disaster if it was picked off, because it kind of looked like it was going to be underthrown for a second. Now Deuce Williams, the man set to receive this punt for the Senators.
That time it's a good snap.
And they run into the punter, and Williams, he gets the return. He's hit hard. Won't matter, as one of the Senators, I don't quite know who it was. It may have been Lennox. No, I believe that was Darnell Clark, ran into the punter, James Into, and that is a costly mistake.
That penalty right there is the one. I think if I was a coach, that's the one that would annoy me the most. That's like your number one job. You cannot hit that punter because it's an automatic first down no matter what. That's one of the most frustrating penalties for me as a fan, and I'm sure for Coach Escola as a head coach.
Let's see where they mark this football. The Zebras will have excellent starting field position at their own 45-yard line. So let's see if Pine Bluff can actually get some consistent rhythm here to start the second half. They really haven't had much at all. They've been coasting. Even they still couldn't capitalize off a Senator turnover, and well, I would say a near safety. It was a near safety a couple of times, but it ended up being a safety, in fact, on the punt attempt. Wallace, the quarterback. Two receivers to the left. Hayes behind him at the running back. Helms in motion. Handoff to Hayes, and he gets tackled by Doucette and Campos.
Nice pickup on first down. You know, you're looking for those somewhere between 3 to 5 yards at least on first downs, and they got 3 out of that play. So that's going to bring up a 2nd and 7, and that puts them in a decent position to gain some more yards and make it 3rd and short.
They have been trying to throw the football downfield a lot, especially in the second half. Do you think they should just try to grind the axe, just try to move the football, maybe not worry, just try to get a few yards each play instead of trying to get big chunk plays?
I'm not really sure. You know, coming from, oh, my goodness,
well,
I cannot believe that was caught.
Speaking of a big chunk play, the Senators finally get the receiver down. Of course, forward progress marks him.
I don't know if you saw what just happened, but I think it was I'm not sure if it was Michael Hayes. It was one of their defenders comes running across the field, grabs the ball, and then it bobbles it, bounces off his hands right into the hands of a zebra wide receiver, and that's what gives him a first down.
That was the junior Quentin Roy coming up with the first down catch and run, and of course he was planted deep backwards, but of course forward progress makes it a first down.
This has been kind of a funky game. We've got a safety and I don't know, just some weird stuff happening here tonight. It's got something to do with Halloween. I know Halloween was yesterday, but it's the vibes of Halloween are still lingering here.
And Hayes with the first down run. Actually, they're going to say it's 2nd and short, 2nd and inches rather, for DeJuan Hayes. And the officials are going to stop play, and looks like there was Quentin Roy that is, I would say he's being helped off the field. He's being taken off the field by a trainer. Did you see what that was?
I didn't see.
The official just stopped play for Quentin Roy to leave the field, and he wasn't down or anything. They just had him leave the field. Not sure what all that was about.
It might be. I'm not sure.
And I don't want to speculate, so we'll go ahead and move on. So two receivers to the left, one to the right for the Zebras. Hayes in the backfield. Wallace at quarterback. Handoff to his running back, Hayes. Hayes breaks through. That is definitely going to be a Zebra first down and a little bit more.
Man, Hayes just hit that hole so hard right there. There was a bunch of Senator defenders waiting on him, and he just broke through all of them to get a nice gain and a first down.
The senior running back finding his rhythm in the second half, and Michael Williams talked a lot about him earlier before the season started as Wallace finally gets brought down by Michael Hayes, but not before picking up about 6 or 7. But
seems like the Zebras are starting to pick up the tempo.
Exactly. Well, what Coach was talking about, Coach Williams was talking about with DeJuan Hayes, he's a guy that cannot be brought down by a single tackler. It has to be multiple players to be able to bring him down. And these last couple of runs, it's taken 3 or 4 Senators to finally bring him to the ground. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Hayes on the left side of his quarterback. Hellam's in motion. Wallace fakes it to nobody and finally gets it to.
Goodness.
That was an interesting play.
I mean, that was talk about walking a tightrope right there. That's exactly what Wallace was doing. He was holding that ball out just for anybody to grab it. Somehow gets the pitch away at the last second, and they managed to get maybe a yard. That's a dangerous play.
I don't know if they even got that. I think they just brought it back to the line of scrimmage.
If you're head coach Williams, you've got to be really nervous watching that play.
Now it's 3rd and 5. Zebras taking their time. 1:54 remaining on the game clock. Wallace looks left, looking, going deep for the end zone, and incomplete, but 2 flags went flying. He was looking for his receiver, Helms, and Jaden Todd's going to pick up the penalty there.
He got just a hand on him that kind of adjusted where he was going to be stretching out to catch that ball. So I think that's a fair call by the officials, and that's going to give them a first down.
You know, I used to think that quarterback was, without a doubt, the hardest position to play on the football field. But the more football that I watch and the older I get, the harder or the easier for me to think that defensive back, especially corner, might just be, might compete for the hardest position on the football field.
Yeah, the corner spot that's a really difficult position to play. It's definitely a difficult position to play. You have to have like perfect technique just to try to break a pass up, and not to mention trying to get interceptions and stay on guys. It's definitely a very difficult position.
And off to the running back, Hayes. He breaks through 1 tackle, finally gets brought down by a couple. Campos, one that brought him down. But, for a corner, you can't be too handsy because that's obviously going to be a penalty. But you're guarding players that have just elite speed. And so you already have to have elite speed of your own just to try to keep up with them. Of course, you have to be able to tackle. And it's just so hard to be able to play corner and to cover nowadays, especially with how much teams want to pass. So you're constantly under the gun to not be penalized. And now the Zebras with a run. Hayes runs over somebody, finally gets brought down. The ball came free, but I believe Hayes was down already by the time the ball came loose.
Yeah, they're going to say he was down.
It was still a solid run by the senior running back. 45 seconds left to play in the third quarter as that brings up 3rd down. And there's going to be a timeout by Coach Escola. A couple of Senator defenders left the field late, and he wants to be able to have his defense set before the Zebras have this 3rd down opportunity.
I'm so frustrated by the fumble call at the other side of the field.
Yeah.
It should have been Senator's ball. That was definitely a dropped shovel pass. Hayes I think it was Hayes or Muhammad, is one of the two, never had control of the football. So this is giving the Zebras some momentum, and they're taking advantage of it. They've driven all the way down the field, and now they're 4 yards away from pay dirt, and it's 3rd and short. This is a big 3rd down. If the Zebras want to get back in this one, this kind of feels like one you have to get.
Well, the second half has been, I would say, very beneficial to the Zebras, but mostly because this has been outside of their first drive of the ball game, their best drive, their longest drive, and their most successful one. Of course, starting off the half with a safety was not how you want to start the second half at all. But as they have 34 seconds remaining in the third quarter, this is a good way to possibly end the quarter. Two receivers on the right, one on the left. Hayes in the backfield behind his quarterback Wallace. Man in motion.
Down.
Handoff, fumble. Ball is
ground.
loose. Senators have the football, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, Dominio
Yes,
Patterson Yes, sir. Senator football. Let's go. Nice job to get all over that football once it hit the ground.
Well, Hayes just never had a handle on that football once Wallace handed it off to him, and there was a lot of contact coming his way anyway, and possibly he just, I don't want to say he got scared by all the defenders running after him, but he just never had the football in his hands, and that ball came free, and the Senators immediately had the awareness to jump on it.
Yeah, I think the Zebras would have ended up going for it if they didn't get it right there anyways, but good job by the for the Senators to get a stop there and get that ball back without letting them get any points on the board.
Well, seeing how the run game has really been slow for the Senators tonight, did they at least try to wake it up now that they're just trying to drain some clock? Well, I say that as there's a catch, and I believe that's I think that was Malachi Muhammad who caught that ball in the end zone and then had to come out. That pass was sort of behind him, and there's a stoppage for a second. I'm not sure what it was about. But the Senators look to get set up to play second and long. Three receivers to the right, one to the left. Thomas, the running back, to the right of his quarterback. Braden rolls right. Has a man that was over the head of Muhammad. Would have been a tough catch if he had come away with it. Clock stops at 10 seconds. The Senators lead 26-7. Oh, and there's a little bit of a scrum at the 15-yard line. Jordan Thomas not happy at all.
Come on, guys.
They need to get him under control before there's a penalty thrown. The Zebra coach is calling for that. I believe that maybe Tatum Hayes cooling off his running back. Not sure what that was about. I was not paying attention after the play. I was looking at the scoreboard. And
you know, when situations like that happen, you just got to hope that cooler heads prevail. You know, this late in the season, you'd hate to see anybody get ejected or receive some type of penalty where they can't play the next game. These are some big games and of a very good season for these young men. You never want to see anything like that happen.
Play clock rolling down, and Zebra fans not happy with something. Could be clock related, not sure. But Braden goes back to pass under pressure, has a man open, and that's going to be a Senator first down.
That was a nice little 11-yard pickup for the Senators that gets them a first down. Just dink and dunking it down the field. That's what they've been doing all night.
That was Malachi Muhammad once again on the first down reception. He's had himself a night. And the clock stands at 4 seconds. As the Senators now have plenty of breathing room now set up at the 19-yard line. to receivers, right side. Hand off to his running back, and that is going to go nowhere but backwards.
That's a loss of about 7. That's a huge loss for the Senators on first down.
And that will do it for the third quarter of play. The Senators leading the Pine Bluff Zebras 26-7 as we enter the final quarter of regulation. Don't go anywhere. We have more Robinson football on the Robinson Sports Network after this break.
I would say school choice is a great option. You can do your research like we did. Visit with other parents that have children in the district. We visited the schools before we made the choice to come here. We chose to school choice because we have had such a great experience here. Teachers, staff have been so helpful and reassuring, and we've been forever grateful for it. And I'd do it all over again. PCSSD is a great option no matter where you live.
And welcome back to Senator Football on the Robinson Sports Network, presented by Natural State Sports and by First Community Bank. 12 minutes left to play in this ball game. The Senators leading 26-7 against the hometown Pine Bluff Zebras.
So they've got a ways to go if they want to get to the end zone, and they got a ways to go if they want to get a first down.
Muhammad, the short catch and run, and that will bring up 3rd and long for the Senators.
I've been very impressed with this Pine Bluff defense. They've really shut the run down, and they are forcing the Senators to throw the ball around. And I mean, if they keep them limited and make good tackles, this is what happens. They put them behind the sticks, and now they've got a 3rd and long situation.
I mean, this is a Senator football team that has been able to put up 40 points or even more than 35 points. Was it 4 of the last 5 games that they have played this season? And, yeah, they do have 26, but honestly, that's a pretty good number to hold the Senators at if you're coming in trailing in the second half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's going to be pass interference on the defense. That's going to give the Senators a much-needed first down to try to extend this drive.
Got to say, loving this Pine Bluff band as well, the high school band. They're just down to the left of us in the stands, but they're loud and they're playing really well. Braden, back to pass. Looks right side, has a man open, he can't come away with the catch. Nice pass breakup by the Zebras.
Oh, my gosh. No, they didn't.
We just got word that Sylvan Hills, who was leading at the half against Sheridan, scored a touchdown off an onside kick. Would love to see that one. So as it stands at the moment, they lead 36 to – actually Sheridan leads.
33-36 Sheridan.
So if they convert the extra point, they're down 1. Maybe they go for 2 if they're feeling extra bold.
Well, they're about to kick an extra point, so.
All right. Well, what a night for the Bears so far. Let's hope they can keep it up. Braden, short pass, goes nowhere, and that brings up just second down.
Man, the way you said that, I thought you were about to say fourth down. I was like,
I know,
did I
yeah.
miss some downs?
No, not quite. No one was home as Braden was looking. I can't tell if there was miscommunication with Pettis or if there was just a man not where he was supposed to be.
Well, we got you an update on the Sylvan Hills game. Let's get an update on the Maumelle game. 5A Central matchup. The Maumelle Hornets are tied up with the Searcy Lions 17-17 with under 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Oh, my gosh.
A catch by Thomas. Thomas with a big run. Thomas, he's still going to the 30, 25, 20, 50, 10, 5, brought down at the 5-yard line. Jordan Thomas, what a play. Just his third catch of the season and one of the longest plays for the Senator team this year.
So Jordan Thomas, he's already he's not, no offense, but he's not the tallest guy around. He's only 5'7", but he climbs the ladder, makes a catch, and I thought was like, dang, that's an impressive catch. And then all of a sudden, as soon as he was going down the sideline, it looked like one of the zebras thought he'd stepped out of bounds, and he gets shoved out, he walks out of bounds. Next thing you know, wide open down the field, and he gets a huge gain. Nice job by Jordan Thomas.
And just like that, Joe T. Robinson is in the red zone, ready to score. Braden reverses to his wide receiver, Muhammad, a flag on the field. Muhammad didn't get much of anything there, as the Zebras almost saw it coming, and it's going to be holding on the offense. So the Senators will back it up here. Well, that sort of derails the momentum for just a moment that the Senators had suddenly started to rack up.
So this is the first time I've done this all season long, where I have a box sheet here for the passing. This is the first time I've filled out the entire box sheet for passes that Braden has thrown. He's thrown already 24 passes.
Whoa, I think that's season high for him.
Yeah.
For completions. I think 24 would be season high for attempts in a game. He passes a lot, but not in, a great number like he is tonight. But Braden is going to be brought down, sacked for the second time tonight. This time by number 52, Emmanuel Hudson. Also starts on that offensive line.
So let's see. Braden has missed out on 1, 2, 3. I've only got 3 incompletions. Well, one of those being an interception for him. So he's 21 of 24. That's a very, very nice stat sheet right there for Tyson Braden.
He was 12 of 15 last week against Searcy for 2 touchdowns. One of those incompletions was an interception, but he's a very efficient passer. To open the year, he was butting around 50%. And so far, coming into this game, 59.6%, which is not a bad number for a quarterback, especially playing in a tough conference like the 5A Central. And after tonight's game, even though, you add one more interception on the board, that completion percentage is definitely going to go well into the 60s. But a timeout taken by the Senators. They only have one timeout remaining. 10:24 left to play in this fourth quarter. The Senators lead 26-7. We will stay right here as we are live from Simmons Bank Field. You're watching this Senator broadcast on the Robinson Football Network, presented by Natural State Sports and by First Community Bank, where the Senator community comes first.
Yeah, I just want to give a big shout-out to everybody tuned into this broadcast tonight. We really appreciate you. Whether you're a Zebra fan or a Senator fan, we welcome all. Please make sure to just keep watching us. We appreciate everyone that tunes in and week out. And hit that like and subscribe button. It would mean the world to us here at the Robinson Sports Network and everyone at Natural State Sports as we try to keep highlighting these young men's athletic talent every Friday night in football season.
3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Braden back to pass, pressure coming. Finds his running back again. Thomas spinning. That's going to be a Senator first down.
No. It was
not quite.
That was second and goal. and they've lost that many yards. So it's like third.
Oh goodness, I apologize about that. Well, that was second down. That brings up third down now for the Senators.
So that was a gain of about 4. So that's 25 now for Bratton. I'm having to fill out another row for him.
Yeah, he is wheeling and dealing so far tonight.
Who caught that pass?
That was Jordan Thomas, his second catch of the night. Only his 5th catch on the year.
4th catch of the night.
Actually, 4th catch of the year.
He has like 79 yards already.
That's a pretty good number. Looking for the end zone. Oh, I thought that would have been a heck of a grab by, I believe, Jaden Todd. He had a really nice catch. I think it was against Cersei.
He tried to pull an Odell Beckham right there.
He did. I haven't seen a good – well, I was going to say I haven't seen a good Odell catch in a while, but last night I don't know if you caught Thursday night pro football. Garrett Wilson for the Jets had a great one-handed grab against the Texans.
I thought you meant an actual Odell Beckham catch, like Odell catching the ball. I was like, wait, is he playing? Is he on a team this year?
He still is. Yeah, I think he's Dolphins. I think.
No way. Maybe you're right. Maybe you might be right. I just haven't seen him play, and I haven't seen him on fantasy waivers, and I would imagine that's probably where he'd be if he was playing right now.
Well, he may be playing, but the thing is he might not be doing much. He just stuck behind Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle in that wide receiver core. Yeah, it's kind of hard to get some playing time, even if you are a seasoned vet like Odell. But Braden, this time completed. I believe that was Jaden. Oh, no, it was not. Oh, my goodness. I am so sorry. I cannot see these jersey numbers. That might be Charles Petty, though.
Lennox Campos.
I thought it was 15.
I thought it was 15, but he usually plays defense, so I wasn't positive.
Yeah, well, Lennox Campos sometimes lines up at tight end or fullback, and he has 2 catches, 1 touchdown so far tonight. So the 4th passing touchdown thrown by Tyson Braden. Now he holds for Tate. That one is up, and it is good. So John Tate gets another First Community Bank extra point attempt. What a game from Tyson Braden. I don't even want to really consider that one interception he had as a knock against the performance. What did you say? Only 3 incompletions so far tonight? 4?
Yeah, 3.
That's just incredible. And 4 passing touchdowns, 3 in the first half.
That's
an incredible
very impressive. Game. And hey, shout out Lennox Campos. I don't know, have you seen him play wide receiver this season?
No. He lines up at fullback or tight end, but just a block, and that's it.
This is the first time I've seen him make a catch, and I think that's his second catch.
That is his second, yeah.
And his second catch of the game, and on the second catch of the game and the season, he gets a touchdown. Yeah,
I'm looking at last year his stats. He played a big role in that D-line last year as just a sophomore. He had some really nice defensive stats, but he didn't have any catches last year. He had 5 rushing attempts for -5 yards, and not great numbers offensively, but something that's interesting for Campos, and we haven't seen him at this position so far this year, but he played some quarterback last season.
Lennox Campos?
He did. A defensive end playing quarterback. He was 3 of 7 for 0 yards.
Swiss
and
Army
1
knife.
interception. He did have 3 fumbles, so maybe there's, it should stay on that defensive line, but frankly, he's an emergency quarterback number 3 behind Reese Simpson.
He's just an athlete is what he is. He's a jack of all trades, and he's got the athletic ability to play any position on the field almost.
And that ball bounces into the end zone for the touchback.
So now under 9:30 left to go in this final quarter of action. The Senators lead at 33-7. They've definitely stretched the lead now. It's going to be a tough sledding if they want to try to come back in this ball game, the Zebras. It's going to be probably passing from here on out, I'm guessing, from the Zebras.
Well, and that fumble by Hayes at the goal line, that destroyed any bit of rhythm, momentum, confidence that they had at the very end. And then, of course, the touchdown strike from Tyson Braden to Lennox Campos. And First of all, great hands by Campos. That would have been an easy incompletion if if he had just lost the football. That one defender looked like he was about to bat it away.
No,
but
that was a really tight window that Brad
yeah.
that snuck that one into.
But Devontae Wallace in the offense set to try to make something happen late in the game. 2 receivers on the right. Hands off to his running back and a big tackle by, guess who? Josh Smith on for the tackle for loss for the Senators.
I'm not even sure if his knee touched right there. It was close.
Oh, when he was
it
down?
It didn't look like his knee touched. And that's why he jumped back up and almost kept going.
It may have been his elbow, though.
Maybe you're right.
Regardless, it's kind of hard to get back up from a hit from Josh Smith, especially when he's coming unblocked off the edge.
You were validated, by the way. Thank you, Lucy, in the comments for telling us Odell is on the Dolphins.
I know my stuff. Wallace bobbles the snap, and that one is, I thought that was batted down. It may have been tipped by Patterson, but regardless, it's incomplete. It was thrown out of bounds.
Big Dominio Patterson getting those paws up there and tipping that ball and forcing an incompletion.
Yeah, if that is true, then that is his 5th pass breakup of the year. For a defensive lineman, you typically want them to be able to get those pass deflections, but 5 is, at this level of high school sports, that's pretty good. Three receivers on the right side, 1 on the left for the Zebras. Hayes still the running back to the right of his quarterback, Wallace. Wallace rolling right. Rolling, juking, trying to juke, and he finds this man outside. That was number 7, Jason Jones. He was connecting with him a lot in the first half. I think this is the first time he's thrown his way so far in the second half.
I think we got to give a shout. I got to give a shout out to Kyla Patterson. I hope that's how you say your first name. That's Dominio Patterson's sister. She is really shouting out her brother in the comment section, and we hear you. We all love the Senators here.
Oh, she's shouting out. Seems like every player that's been making some plays.
No, she's like looks like number 1 fan on here.
Wow,
she's
well, keep it up. And now the Zebras look like they're going to punt this football away.
Delay of game.
It will be delay of game. A player came onto the field late for the Zebras. And frankly, all night long, James Ento, who has been the punter, it's just been a rough night for him. He's had some bad snaps. He hasn't been able to hold on to some snaps. And then on occasion, it just seems like the special teams group is just really slow to get going. Clean snap, no pressure. That one goes right to Hayes. That's Michael Hayes. He's just going to let that one bounce out of bounds.
That wasn't a bad punt right there.
No, it had a nice solid roll, and it's going to be marked down about the 41-yard line of the Senators. So now Robinson will have the football at their own 41. Looks like Tyson Braden might still be the quarterback. You have to wonder, up 33-7, if they go ahead and start putting in some of the backups, especially on offense, giving them some time, especially on the road. A lot of the big wins the Senators have had this year, as Braden is still the quarterback for the Senators. So no, not backup time yet. But a lot of the big wins have been at home, and it's always important to give some of your guys that don't see the field much, or at least your young guys, give them some time on the road. And, of course, against Jacksonville, a lot of backups did get to see a lot of time, as Nick Abrams is going to have this carry, gets it to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it.
This defensive line for Pine Bluff is just doing a great job of closing down those running lanes. There hasn't been, other than I think one or two runs over 7 yards tonight.
Well, Danny Johnson has been the force of that defensive line. Has 2 sacks already today. Could have had a third at one point as well. He's been getting to the quarterback. He's been stopping the run. this is a guy that has legitimate college potential, and if UAPB and Arkansas Tech are his only offers, then some other schools need to go ahead and watch his tape. Abrams, his first real good run of the second half, but flags go flying.
I saw the holding call.
I think the defensive line just kept switching around, confusing some of the offensive linemen of the Senators. And Joe T. Robinson will back this one up a little bit. .7:21 remaining in this ball game. The Senators with a 33-7 lead over these hometown Pine Bluff Zebras, playing here at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff's home stadium, Simmons Bank Field. Second and 20 from the 31-yard line. Braden, back to pass, going deep, and
Muhammad almost got it off the tip.
Yeah, Muhammad was there. He was looking for him. Couple of Zebras in on coverage. I believe one of them was number 28, DeAndre Trotter.
That was Reese Simpson, right? Oh no, was that
Braden?
Braden?
That was Braden. So it's.
I thought you said Reese Simpson.
Well, I was rambling. I was just saying what I would do is just go ahead and put in some of the guys that don't see the field a whole lot. I say that, and most of them have appeared in 3 or 4 games so far this year. As Robinson went through a period of just blowing out a bunch of opponents as Abrams gets maybe a yard on the third down carry. So that will bring up 4th, and that will bring on the punt team.
So speaking of high school football, so we've got some good games going on. I can get you some updates real fast on some of these other ball games.
I'm curious about the Sylvan Hills.
Yeah, let's start with Sylvan Hills. Sylvan Hills trails 43-33, and the Yellow Jackets have the ball. So, but there's still a whole quarter left. They're not even in the 4th quarter, so there's still a lot of time in the ball game. A lot of time in that ball game for Sylvan Hills to make something happen.
Well, hopefully they didn't burn through all of their energy in that first half, just getting that lead as that punt is away, and they're going to let this one bounce. A decent bounce.
That's a nice punt right there.
That was a solid punt by John Tate.
Totally flips the field.
And that ball will be marked down at the 16-yard line of the Zebras.
So, yeah, going to the other game, the Maumelle Hornets and Searcy Lions are all tied up 17-17 with 1:30 left to go. That one's going to be a tight one. Could end up seeing that one go to overtime as it's second down and the Hornets are not close to the end zone. So that one's...
Yeah, I think that's Maumelle or like you said, the Hornets, and probably the 20, maybe 15-yard line is where they have the football, their own 15.
But going back, what I was really going to say is next week, of course, the Senators will be taking on the Hornets. That's going to be a fun game to watch. But another game I'm excited to watch. So sorry, my alma mater, Bryant and Conway. That's always a huge rivalry game for the Hornets, and that one's going to be a great one to keep an eye on next weekend.
Well, your alma mater had a big win tonight against North Little Rock. 62-7.
Yeah,
and of course my alma mater is North Little Rock, and just not quite the year I.
Nice little pickup from the Zebras. That's probably their biggest gain. Oh, no, that's not their biggest gain of the night.
Not quite, no.
I think it's like their second biggest gain of the night.
That was a nice play. Wallace, a little bit of trickery to flip that one to his receiver in the backfield.
I didn't show you this. Somebody in the comment section said Wallace trying to be like Kyler Murray out there.
Yeah.
And no, he's got the size.
He does, yeah.
And he can move around like him too.
Hand off to the running back, and not much going for them there. Multiple Senators right there to make the tackle. But you're right. I've been impressed with the way that Devontae Wallace has played, and that offensive line just hasn't been able to keep the Senators' D-line at bay. And when he runs out, he's looking for as many yards as he can possibly get. He's not going to take off and run the first chance he gets. He's trying to get the ball to his playmakers down the field. There are a few times, and he probably should just pull it out and try to run and scramble for a few yards, but he's pretty electric, and he's still playing extremely fast, even as we are late in the game.
How do you – so I don't know if you saw that right there. That was like I don't know. It looked more like a pistol formation, but they have the running back offset off the quarterback's side. Mm-hmm. So he's like not directly behind the quarterback. What do you think about that formation?
You know, it hasn't I don't know. Does the two steps backward that he is, does that really do much?
Well, it's the 2 steps back, but he said 2 steps to his right side too.
Right.
So I think it's got something to do with I think they just think he can pick up more speed if he's going at an angle and like where he's trying to head.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just you don't see that very often, I feel like.
Yeah, well, I mean, if that's what they've been doing all season long, the DeJuan Hayes has definitely had some success. I mean, over 100 rushing yards last week and 2 rushing touchdowns and only 16 rushing attempts. And this is a guy that actually knows the Senator football team really well. He only had 255 rushing yards last season, but 118 of them.
Oh
what
gosh,
a catch! What a catch by Helms! 15-10, 5, touchdown, Pine Bluff. Wow.
That was Trenton Coleman, I think, in the coverage there for the Senators. He got up, got his hand. He got it. He jumped up, got a hand on it, but it bounced into the hands of the wide receiver for the Zebras, and that ends up going for 6, and that's a big play for the Zebras.
I don't even remember what I was saying. Wow, that was a great catch and run.
Yeah, it was.
But those are also the plays that if you're the defensive coordinator, you just hate to see, because that ball is in the hands of your defensive back and he just can't come away with the football. Now on for the first community bank extra point attempt is MD Rahat, and there's a flag on the field, likely on the Zebras. They have just had a lot of issues tonight with their special teams unit. Not sure what the official call is so far. Doesn't even seem like the ball was moved. Actually, it seems like the penalty was on the Senators, so it will mean that Rahat gets a little bit closer. Rahat, perfect so far on the day, 1 of 1 from extra point land. And just gets over for the second First Community Bank extra point attempt of the night.
So, okay, good score right there by the Zebras to kind of trim this lead down. It's still a long ways to go if they want to try to win this ball game. But with very little time on the clock, I bet we'll probably see the Senators try to run this clock down a little bit, don't you think?
Knowing a Coach Escola, you don't know.
Yeah, I know.
You don't know.
Sometimes I think I know what he's thinking, and then all of a sudden they do the exact opposite. So,
yeah, because I would have thought that the last drive would have been the perfect drive to just run the football, and then they just don't do that. They run it a little bit, but they continue to pass the football, and a lot of times it works. Look, the passing tonight has been excellent. It's been nearly perfect. So, if it's not broken, do not fix it.
So, I've got to bring this up. We talked about this earlier. We were talking about alumni. You are an alumni of Ouachita Baptist. Listen. You were bringing up Harding a few weeks ago. I've got to bring it up. I got to bring it up. Can you please tell me what was going on for Ouachita Baptist last night?
Man, do I really have to talk about it? Onside kick, and that's going to be recovered by Josh Smith, the Harding commit, for the Senators. No, look, I will give props to Southern Nazarene entering the game 0-8 on the year, and they come away with a win over the number 3 team in all of Division II. That is probably the biggest win in their program history, definitely the biggest win of the year. No offense to Southern Naz, probably their only win of the season, but what a way to get it. And, oh, man, that – I didn't watch that game. I just saw the score, and I was hoping that Ouachita would just come in there and take that game right away, which they typically do, but I'm not going to talk anymore about this. This just makes my blood boil a little bit. It's just a little frustrating.
I apologize. I shouldn't have brought it up.
Yeah. Reese Simpson, the quarterback, he's going to keep throwing, and that one close to an interception. I told you they wouldn't run the football.
You're right. You were right.
Reese Simpson, the backup quarterback with most of the other backups in the football game, and they're actually going up against the starting defense for the Zebras, because I still see Big Danny Johnson out on the football field, and a lot of these sophomores will not be seeing a guy like Danny Johnson for the rest of their high school careers. There's going to be some great defensive linemen they'll go up against over time, but Danny Johnson's just in a league of his own. Simpson's going to hand off to his running back. That's Cunningham. Cunningham trying to show off the speed, but gets tackled for a big loss.
Yeah, that was a big loss. The Zebras were all over it, and that's going to bring up a third and very long now for the Senators.
3rd and 14 to be exact. 3:56 left to play in this game. The official trying to get the play clock was not going for the longest time. I think he was trying to get it to run, and now it is. There's been some clock problems on occasion tonight.
They're letting the clock run down as much as they can, it looks like. See if they call a timeout here. No, they're going to call a play. But they better hurry up and get to the ball. They only got 5 seconds left.
3 seconds on the play clock, and they won't get a playoff. Yep, so it will be a delay of game for the Senators.
You know, I don't put that on Reese Simpson. I think they were trying to burn some clock off, so I don't think that's...
And they did that. That is the thing. They burned a lot of clock.
They did.
Yeah, I think a good 40 seconds, 40 seconds were burned off the clock there, and now they will call a play. Simpson's going to win a pass. He's going to look outside. He's got a man open.
That's a first down.
That's Petty on the reception. Catch and run for a big first down for Reese Simpson and company.
That was a huge completion to Charles Petty, and nice job by Petty to get to get some more yards after the catch for a first down.
And that is good composure. You'd love to see that from your sophomore quarterback that possibly could be the future of your team next season. And, every game that he's played, he continues to get better, and the Zebras read that like a book, knew it was a run, and planted him backwards.
I need to keep an eye on the line and see what's happening, because I don't know if they're sending the house or what's happening, but every single time they've been trying to run the ball in the past few plays, they're just all over him.
And the Senators will head to their own sideline. Looks like the Zebras might have taken one of their timeouts. So we'll go ahead and take a timeout with them. 2:14 remaining in this game. The Zebras trailing 14-33, and the Senators rolling with the football. We'll be back right after this break. Simpson takes the snap, handoff. Oh, excuse me. Well, he did hand it off. I was mistaken. He handed it off to his running back, Cunningham, who may have lost a yard.
That's a timeout. Zebras now.
Okay. All right. Well, that was a little strange. So
let's give it here. I'll give you an update. So I think the clock has hit 0. No, I'm not sure if the clock is 0 or if there's a couple seconds left. But either way, it's a tie ball game, and I think they're going to OT.
Cersei and Maumelle, because this is not a tie ball game.
Maumelle Hornets, Cersei Lions. Looks like they're going to end up going to overtime. That's a big matchup. That's going to be a fun one to watch. If they're still in overtime when I get out of here, definitely going to be watching that one on the car ride home.
We definitely don't want anybody else to leave our stream. Go ahead and stick it out. Maybe if you have a second device, go ahead and pull up that Maumelle game.
Yeah, get all of the Natural State Sports broadcasts. Pull out all the screens. Get the laptop out. Get the TV out. Get the gaming console. Whatever you got.
What a grab!
Oh my goodness!
What a grab by the receiver! I can't tell who it is. That might be a Senator touchdown, or excuse me, not touchdown, not quite. A little premature. First down. Might have been marked just short.
That was a sick catch right there. Just
what a catch!
Totally turned around and one-handed it.
That was Darnell Clark.
Darnell Clark.
One of the rotational defensive linemen, also plays some running back. He was coming out of the backfield. The pass was not on target, but he still made the grab. And now that was an Odell grab. We were talking about that one almost catch by Jaden Todd. Now that was a legitimate Odell grab. I am not sure what the stoppage in play is. Now we have fourth down. It is 4th and inches. Well, maybe 4th and 1. I can't tell what the chain game is going to decide here, but I believe it is 4th and inches. Offense remains on the field. And like we were talking about, this is a coach. Coach Escola does not like to just go ahead and settle for 3. He wants to put up points. He wants to get his team reps.
4 seconds left on the play clock. They need to get this ball off, and they got to call a timeout.
Yeah, the Senators are going to use their last timeout of the game.
Oh, wait. What's going to happen here?
Oh.
So I think what they're going to say is he didn't have a timeout, but that should be a penalty.
Well, there's a timeout on the board.
I know, and I think that's what he's complaining about.
But I'm confused because –
yeah, they're saying now they're saying throw the flag. Now they're saying throw the flag.
1:57 remaining. The Senators lead by 19.
Yeah. Delay of game. So they're going to give them a delay of game.
All right, so delay of game, no timeout.
Somebody needs to tell whoever's controlling
that board.
Yeah, whoever's controlling the board, somebody needs to notify them that they don't have any more timeouts left.
So now it is 4th and maybe 5, 6. Simpson looking deep. Pressure coming. He's got a little bit more time. He finds his man open. What a catch by Petty. Petty loses a couple men, and what a catch by Charles Petty. Simpson's favorite target tonight.
Hey, nice job by Reese Simpson to roll out of the pocket, avoid the pressure, and then find his man downfield and just rifle it right into Charles Petty's chest and right next to a defender too. Good job by Charles Petty to get in there for that first down.
Look, if Simpson is the quarterback of the future for the Senators, if you're a Robinson fan, you have to feel pretty confident because these are some incredible passes. He does not – look, we talked about Braden beginning of the year. Looks like a different player. Reese Simpson looks like a completely different player, and now he's going to take the knee.
Yeah, just going to knee it out for the rest of these downs.
But what an offensive clinic, a passing clinic, to be exact, by the Senator team. I will say the Zebras came to play in the second half. It took them a second.
Why are they doing the raise the roof thing? I don't.
That's the official.
Raise the roof.
It's to reset the play clock, I'm pretty sure.
raise the roof.
That's exactly what that is. It's to reset the play clock.
Oh, my gosh. They're just messing up the clock. I don't know who's in charge of the clock, but they are messing it all up right now, and the officials are not happy with it. Yeah, run the play clock. Run the play clock. They're just not running the play clock.
So some late game miscommunication, and not by the players or coaches on the field. Simpson going to take another knee.
That should end it, I think.
And that will end it. The play clock and the game clock not quite right here at Simmons Bank Field, but that will do it. The Senators come into enemy territory and take a 33-14 victory over the hometown Pine Bluff Zebras. One more game left on the schedule for both teams. For the Zebras, they're going to still be here at home as they take on local rival Whitehall November 7th, a Thursday night game. That will be an interesting one for both squads. And then for the Senators, they will be at Maumelle this coming Thursday night. And that will be a great game. And supposedly Maumelle has a really nice facility, so really nice. Be really interested.
They do. They have a great facility over there.
Well, the Senators improve to 8-1 on the year. The Zebras fall to 2-7.
You want me to go ahead and name
go
my
ahead.
MVPs?
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, I'm looking at go ahead and give you a score update of the Sylvan Hills Sheridan game. Sheridan's got that one in the bag at this point, 56-33. And a good fight by Sylvan Hills, though, and then that overtime Searcy and Maumelle matchup that's being played at the moment. But go ahead and give your MVPs, Jay.
MVPs, I think defensively, I think there was a lot of guys that played well, but let's just go ahead and give it to number 6, Kyron Grimes. He had the one interception on the night, and he got it in a pretty pivotal moment, and that put the Senators in great field position to score. So great job by Kyron Grimes. And offensively, I mean, who else? It's got to be Tyson Bratton. Yeah. 4 touchdown throws on the night. That is just outstanding play by the Senator quarterback. And just his completion percentage was just fantastic. Very impressed with the way he threw the ball tonight, especially. You know, he just tweeted out last night he got that another offer.
Yeah, 2 offers.
Another 2 offers.
Hey, he might be getting more after tonight.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think he should. He played outstanding tonight.
Well, that's obviously my offensive MVP. I mean, there's not a lot of players tonight that I would have – I mean, there were a lot of other deserving players, but 4 passing touchdowns and only maybe 4 incompletions on the night?
Right.
I mean, just that's – incredible numbers for your senior quarterback. Now, for defense, I'll go a little different. I'll go Lennox Campos, and not for the reason you think. He made some tackles on defense, but I'll go ahead and give it to the defensive end for getting his first career touchdown catch. Of course, he played on offense there, but still a big shout-out to Lennox Campos, the junior defensive end, tight end, wide receiver, whatever you want to call him. But a big win tonight for the Senators, a huge conference victory. And, of course, they will all be checking in on that score between Maumelle and Searcy.
And I say before we leave you, make sure after this broadcast, give us a like and subscribe, and then make sure go there, tune into our other Natural State Sports Network, the Maumelle Sports Network, as they are in overtime with the Searcy Lions. That will be a good one to watch right after you get off our broadcast.
Yes, you have permission to leave now, but that will do it for us here at Simmons Bank Field in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I'm Chris Gay. This is Jay Call from our entire crew. Thank you for tuning in to the Robinson Sports Network. Until then, we will see you all next week on Thursday as the Senators take on the hometown Maumelle Hornets. Until then, be safe, have fun, and go Senators!
Project Zero is a 501c3 nonprofit with one goal, and that is to have 0 kids in foster care waiting to be adopted.
And we're hoping to have 0 kids waiting. That's
our whole goal, Project Zero.
It means no kid is forgotten, and there are people always fighting for kids to find their forever family, no matter how old they are.
There's not awareness out there. I don't think people understand the need that we have here in our own state for these children who are wonderful children waiting for forever families.